is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, The Monty Show on a football Friday. How the heck are you? We are presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com. Make sure that you guys take note of this Venmo right here because the Advocates are doing, again, I tell you guys every day on this show, the Advocates care about their community. They are giving Halloween costumes to homeless children in partnership with the Road Home. Make a donation, Advocates donations at in Venmo. There is the Venmo QR code if you happen to have a moment. And can screen grab it, please do that. $1, $5. If you could just send them a Venmo and say, Monty Show costumes, that'd be great. But any way you slice it, help homeless kids enjoy Halloween. Send a donation to the Advocates, the best injury attorneys in the business, where you never pay a penny to talk to one of the best injury attorneys in the business, theadvocates.com. How the heck are you? You know, I have to tell you guys, we talk a lot of college football expansion on this show. I think you guys know that. But this situation with Oregon State and Washington State is out of pocket. And I just don't understand the rage going on about this story. And I have tried to use our platform to keep you guys up to date on the very latest going on. And yet we still get these podcasts, these guys that show up and talk about how, you know, there's going to be $320 million paid to the Pac-2, and that's upsetting college football. Only problem with that is that's completely not true. See, good save right there.
That was an excellent
good save right there, dude. On a Friday in the tip jar.
Yes, excellent save.
But my point is, you guys, let's once and for all set the record straight on whether or not Oregon State and Washington State are going to the Big 12. And the answer is an unequivocal not happening. And here's why. And I want to put this out. I want you to have the information. I am not going to give you one bit of my opinion in this next 5 minutes. I want you to understand that. I am going to present the facts to you. The questions presented by a lot of just delusional people who I don't believe have any idea what they're talking about center around the fact that the powers that be in college football, the P4s, the SECs, the ACCs, you know, the Big 12, the Big 10, ESPN, don't want any of the information leaked out there, doing everything they can do to protect America from knowing that Oregon State and Washington State are the only two teams left, and they'd be getting $600 million over the next 2 years. Okay, well, here are the facts of the case. That's completely not true. The college football playoff, in no way, shape, or form, under any circumstance at all, is going to pay the Pac-12, whether it's 12 teams, 2 teams, no teams. They are never getting a payout of $600 million. They are not getting a $320 million payout. That's just not how the system works. I am going to put up a graphic on the screen for you now that is from the College Football Playoff website where you can see the distributions. In 2023-24, each conference will receive $300,000 for each of its schools when the school's football team meets the NCAA's APR, so essentially their academic and on-field requirements for participation in postseason football. Each independent institution will receive $300,000 when its football team meets the standard. So under nowhere, no way, no how, in the economic distribution of college football, is there a path for the Pac-2 to get $600 million? It's simply not true. Stop believing that. Read the second line. A conference will receive $6 million from each team that is selected for a college football playoff semifinal. So if you win a bowl game, you get into the semifinal, you'll get $6 million. Not $600 million, not $300 million, $6 million. And if you go to point 3, each conference whose team participates in a playoff semifinal, Cotton Fiesta or Peach Bowl, or in the national championship game will receive $2.85 million to cover expenses for each game. Under no circumstance is there a path for Oregon State and Washington State to each receive $320 million. It's not true. I spoke to several sources today. One of them in the Big 12 who told me point blank there have been no conversations about Oregon State and Washington State joining the conference. We are focused on building the business of the Big 12. Unequivocal. I spoke to a source close to Washington State today who told me there have not been conversations between Washington State and the Big 12 since the day that the conference melted down, when they called the Big 12 looking for a lifeline, and the Big 12 said, at this time, we are not prepared to expand further. There have been, from a source close to Washington State, there have been no conversations. I don't know how else to say that. I have spoken to you about Oregon State multiple times. I'm going to put another graphic up. This is a presentation that was given to the Oregon State Assembly by, and look at the names who wrote this, President Murphy, Scott Barnes, the athletic director. Now, before I show you this next slide, if you were going to get $320 million, would you tell your state assembly that you have a $42.1 million funding gap after the fiscal year 2025? If you were getting $320 million, would Oregon State President Murphy and Scott Barnes, the athletic director, have put a presentation together for the Oregon State Assembly and said, we're going to need $42.1 million to cover our conference and media revenue shortfall, ticket sales, annual funds, and miscellaneous income that we are not going to get? Note the last one, miscellaneous income, that goes all the way down to $12.6 million and is a $2.23 million shortfall. Does it seem like if you were getting $320 million in the status quo, that you would be telling your state assembly that you're going to have a $25 million shortfall? Friends, I need you to separate truth from fact. These are not truths. People that are telling you that the college football powers that be are, and I apparently, and I want to clarify this too, Jake, because I said this yesterday. Apparently it was not Locked On Pac-12. It was Locked On Big 12, who had a conspiracy theory. This is what I'm told where this came from. They had a conspiracy theorist on their podcast several weeks ago who said the powers that be in college football are trying to keep this secret so that Oregon State and Washington State don't have leverage. So I'm just going to throw this out there. Don't you think if this was the reality, Oregon State and Washington State would have leverage? That's just one. Like, do you think us knowing about it as a fan base changes their leverage in negotiations? It means nothing what the fans know. Nothing. And I just will again put it out there. Jake, we got to stop with the clickbaiting and the, hey, look at this, I've got a tinfoil hat on.
Yeah.
This is 100% a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I mean, that's all this is. And I think that, it's absolutely true when you say, hey, we need to be separating conspiracy theories from truth and fact. We need to be separating, hey, we have nothing to talk about, so we're just making things up, versus what the actual case is. And that's what's tough is, like, you go and you look at the websites, the information, right? The College Football Playoff Committee and the what they put out, what you need to do to get this amount of money. So let me get this right. The amount of money doesn't add up, and what you need to do to get that money doesn't add up. They're telling you exactly what you have to do and how it works. This isn't like our opinion. This isn't our speculation. this is how it is. That's just the reality of the situation. So this whole week we've been getting, oh, well, dude, are they going to the Big 12? The Big 12 wants to add them? Like, what's going on?
It's got to be hundreds of DMs saying, are you guys going to address this? Why are you guys ignoring this? Hey, we need you to talk about this. Hey, is this – we've avoided it as long as we can avoid it. And I just ask you to go back to college realignment, which I've been a little burned out on talking about. It has been nice to talk about football games. It has been nice to talk about whether it's Coach Prime or the mullet or Lincoln Riley or what. It's been great talking football. But at some point, we're going to get away from this.
Yeah.
I don't know when that happens, and it's probably not going to be for 5 years. It's going to be a weekly. My guess is it's going to be a weekly topic. The only way I see this story changing is if the ACC melts down. That's the only way, in my opinion, that Oregon State and Washington State, and I don't even know at that point if it'd be the Big 12, that's the only way I can see Oregon State and Washington State going to another conference.
Yeah, and I just think that's
it.
Oregon State and Washington State, again, are in this position where their primary focus shouldn't be the Big 12. It should be winning this court dispute that they're in with the other 10 members who are leaving the conference. Because if you lose that court battle and you lose that case, you're done anyway, right? Because you know that the other 10 are going to vote to dissolve the conference, so they get paid and they get their share, and it's very straightforward. So that's why I say, let's stop talking about, some fairy dust Fugazi situation that, you guys think is going to happen, and let's start talking about the realities of it. And what's frustrating is that we really stay away from this channel made this up or that dude said that. Like, we don't really do much of that on this show.
At all.
But
I'm not. I'll be honest with you. I said this yesterday on the show. I think Locked On Big 12 has zero credibility. I don't watch it. I refuse to watch it after what happened with Neighbors. I refuse to watch it. I told you also I'm not a big consumer of other podcasts. I truly am not. I watch 365 on occasion because they always have great guests. But I don't know what exactly they're telling you. But what I'm telling you is there's no such thing as 320 million, 640 million. All this 320 million number that's been DM'd to me a million times. Yeah. I got laughed at by Washington State today. Like, I've known somebody at Washington State who I've talked to on a pretty regular basis. And this person laughed at me. This person said straight up, would we be fighting to keep the conference together? Would we be spending millions of dollars? And I said millions, you're spending millions. This person said we're spending tens of millions of dollars between legal fees and man hours. Would you be spending that much money to try and keep a conference together if there was $300 or $600 million down the line? And that person absolutely laughed at me while saying that. And I straight up had to say, I'm just doing my due diligence. I'm just asking questions because so many people have asked me about this. And I can also tell you, like, people at the Big 12 have said over and over and over again, we're not adding 6 Pac-12 members. We are not going to give half of the conference vote to 6 friends who would be able to, at that point, really in a power struggle, would have an enormous influence. When you already have a voting block of Arizona and Arizona State, and you're losing Texas and Oklahoma, you're finally getting rid of the behemoths in the room. I can tell you straight away, I've heard that a dozen times. The best news and the worst news is, hey, Texas and Oklahoma are out. We've lost the problem children of the conference. Now we're adding 4 Pac-12 members who are going to probably vote in lockstep, and BYU is in that group as well because what's best for Utah is probably best for BYU. Mm-hmm. So the idea that you would bring in Oregon State and Washington State to make that block stronger, and then like my Big 12 sources and my Washington State source saying, hey, look at this chart. Oregon State presented this to their state legislature. Like, it's just not true, you guys.
Yeah.
And again, it's not personal to me. I don't know the guy that does Locked On Big 12. It's not personal to me.
No.
Whatever he's telling you is completely wrong. It's just we've got to figure out how to separate opinion from fact.
Yeah, and I think that the troubling thing is it's so spelled out. This isn't like hard to understand.
Yeah,
it's
this
not
is,
like
you guys, this is publicly available.
I mean,
this is, and that's why I screenshot the entire website. This is off of the college football playoff website.
Yeah, it's not like this is like, CIA 5th level classified or something. Like, this is public information. It's not hard to find. It's not. Like,
we're talking about aggregates of $6 million, $6,600,000. Like, there's nowhere in the world where you're getting $300 million in the Pac-12. And the other part of this is, by the way, Oregon State and Washington State, to even get to the semifinal payment level, would have to shock the world. You would have to absolutely stun the world. Because one of the things that was pointed out to me today is no matter where Oregon State and Washington State up, and let's clarify this as well, because there's a lot of people saying that this is going to happen any moment. Oregon State and Washington State are locked in the middle of a fight for money and assets in the Pac-12. They have scheduling problems. And somebody asked me today, well, look at how all these other conferences were able to write a schedule. Why is this a problem for Oregon State and Washington State? Because they have no idea who they're playing. When you're in the Big 12 or you're in the Big 10 and you've expanded and you've added Cal and Stanford to the ACC, you know who your players are.
Yeah.
You know who your opponents are. You just have to fit them into a graph, essentially. Oregon State and Washington State do not know who they're playing. They do not know who their partners are. Now, we've also been told repeatedly over the last 10 days that Oregon State and Washington State are pretty far down the line with the Mountain West Conference.
Right.
They have had advanced conversations. They have to get through this court situation. As we reported on the show yesterday, and now everybody's run with it today, there are negotiations for settlement happening between these two universities, Oregon State and Washington State, and the exiting 10 members.
Facts.
With the idea of wrapping this up in the next 3 weeks. They cannot wait. I think it's November 14th or something.
Right. Yeah.
They cannot wait until November 14th just to get the court proceeding going. Because at that point, you're probably pushing past the holidays.
Yes.
So you're into calendar year 2024. Like,
Which you can't have.
It's a big roadblock.
Yeah.
So you have to get on with your business. And one of the things that's so interesting to me is all of these people grasping at this Oregon State, Washington State rumor who think $300 million is the powers that be are trying to like hide this information. Nobody's trying to hide information. It's all, I cannot express this enough. These are state institutions. It's public, available information.
Yeah.
You're looking at the front page of a document that was presented to the Oregon State House that was sent to me and a ton of other media members. Guys, this information's not hard to get.
And that's why I say, like, again, understand, be very clear. Don't get this confused or muddled or, don't get this wrong. This has nothing to do, as far as we're concerned, with the Locked On Network or Locked On Big 12. This has everything to do with, hey, a certain channel, and I don't care if your name is Locked On Big 12 or not, is essentially just making things up, because that's what this is. And I hate saying that, but that's what this is. And
we haven't found one source that we've talked to. And we have done, you guys know that we don't just talk to one person. We have done a lot of legwork on this. We have not found a single TV or college institution, college football, board of regents, nobody that will tell us Oregon State and Washington State, oh, yeah, that's happening. Yep. Nobody is saying that. Like, I talked to two recruiting services on DM today about this story that recruits are hearing that Oregon State and Washington State are going to the Big 12. Nobody can substantiate that. When all the realignment was going on, you know what the hardest part of the realignment was? People were calling us to substantiate stuff like, hey, and we would call one person at a school and they'd be like, yeah, here's what's happening. Like, it wasn't hard to get the information.
Yeah.
Just people didn't do the legwork.
Yeah.
So now we talk to the same people. They're like, yeah, that I haven't heard that. This person at Washington State laughed at that. Do you really think, this person said, do you really think we'd be doing all of this, spending tens of millions of dollars in legal fees and man hours, if we had, and this person was saying $600 million coming?
No.
No, they would not.
Yeah.
They would not. They would simply be going about their business.
Yeah.
They would not be doing this. And the other funny thing is, I know a ton of people in the powers that be of TV sports in this country. And this idea, the other wild rumor out there was ESPN was going to force this to happen because ESPN was going to be on the hook to pay this money. ESPN has nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
ESPN has nothing to do with paying that money. I mean, I hope you understand that. The distribution does not come from ESPN.
No, it doesn't.
Comes from the NCAA. It's the NCAA's money. They have the rights to it. All the conferences have signed their playoff rights over to the NCAA and the college football playoff entity, who then sold it to ESPN and ABC. ESPN and ABC do not cut checks out of the college football playoff system to schools and conferences directly. That is as simply as I can make it.
And it's just, I don't know why people want to latch on to this conspiracy stuff so hard. Like,
no idea.
The other part of this that just baffles me is like, you guys understand we're still talking about Washington State and Oregon State, right? Like, we're not talking about Oregon or Alabama or Ole Miss.
That's
or
the
like,
other
you know
thing
what I mean?
today.
Like, we're not talking about like, national championship contenders here.
The other thing today that was so interesting is I was talking to somebody about media markets because a Washington State fan was just all up in my DMs today, like just DM. Because I said, hey, Washington State and Oregon State don't deliver Seattle and Portland.
Right.
And this person is sending me numbers. And so I said, okay, let me just make sure I have any idea what I'm talking about. It's texting with this particular person at a major network who said, if I want Seattle, I'm going to Washington. And if I want Portland, I am probably going to Oregon.
Facts.
And the exact quote is, I would never have thought of Oregon State for Portland. And this person is a pretty important person at a major sports property.
Yeah.
I would never have thought of Oregon State for Portland. The Blazers come to my mind first. Now, Seattle's different because what's interesting about Seattle is Washington State actually plays in Seattle. Washington State has a following, and their TV numbers are strong, but their direct response television ratings are not great in Seattle, especially when against other major competition on in the market at the same time. When it's just Washington State, like their Friday night big game matchups have done exceptionally well. And they have Washington State has some really good TV numbers. But you're not adding, as it was explained to me, you're not adding Washington State and Oregon State to get Portland and Seattle. You're not. And if you wanted Seattle and you were looking for expansion, you would add Gonzaga.
Yeah.
So I'm just telling you, you can run with this stuff and you can believe who you want to believe. And again, I don't know the dude at Locked On Big 12, and
ain't about that.
It's not about that. It's not personal. I don't know who it is, and I'm sure I'll get DMs about it. I don't really care. If they're the ones putting this out, it's completely wrong. It is completely inaccurate. Enough of me, more of you. Good afternoon. Happy Friday to you. We are talking about Oregon State and Washington State. I promise you in 34 minutes, we are going to get to all of the games because I actually think we have a plethora of games to talk about. But as always at this time, it is time for some buckshot.
Yeah.
And we need to do that.
Yeah.
We need to feel better about
As if
ourselves.
You weren't fired up enough already. It's time to get it going.
My driver, again, was terrible this morning.
Oh, who knew?
Going to Topgolf tonight, with all the friends in Fam Bam. If you're at Topgolf tonight, make sure you say hello. Cheers to you on a Friday. There you go. Buckshot. Buckedup.com. You guys, I can't say enough about this product. It is, if you're a 5-hour energy guy, if you are somebody that uses shots to make yourself get through the day, this is the best one in the business because it has got really high quality ingredients that are engineered to give you mental clarity. Its entire job is to deliver 200 milligrams of caffeine into your system to give you a lift, and it's got a bunch of brain food as well. So there's no crash. There's no spike. You just feel more mental clarity to get that report done, to get that, hey, I got a big conference call to wrap up the week, whatever it is you need. Maybe you just have a long drive back to the office or back to your house. Buckedup.com. Get yourself some buckshot. And again, use the promo code Monty20 to get 20% off at checkout because it makes it $23 a box, which is an absolute steal. It's a great price for a great product. And that's what I tell you every day about Bucked Up, you guys. Bucked Up makes the best products because they use the best ingredients. And all of their products do exactly what they tell you they're going to do. Don't take my word for it. Get to buckedup.com. Use the promo code Monty20. Make sure you tell me you heard about it on the Monty Show. All right, let's get your comments in here first. Well, on a Friday, why wouldn't we start with the best news of the day? Welcome Charles Arnett to the membership.
Let's go, baby. Finish the week strong.
Let's go. Good to see you. We are just, I think we're like four new subscribers away from 39,000.
39.
I think it is 6, excuse me. We're at 38,994. So if you are not subscribed, please give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe. We'd love to get to 39,000 today. Charles Arnett, thank you for becoming a member of the show. You guys, we love our members. We have a great community on this show. I really appreciate everybody who supports us. You look at Charles Arnett. He's a member of the, now an entry-level member of the show. He pays $1.99 a month to get all of his comments highlighted and read. For $9.99 a month, you can get into our exclusive Instagram chat, members only, everything from prize picks to arguments about Donovan McNabb being a guy that drinks a lot and is a pretty shitty quarterback in the NFL.
It's garbage.
Yeah, just the run-of-the-mill stuff.
You name it, we talk about it.
Yeah.
Right here on the Monty Show. Stephen Smith gives us $20. Thank you, Stephen. Have a good weekend. The podcast that started Washington State and Oregon State to the Big 12 will happen was Locked On Big 12, not Locked On Pac-12.
Yes.
My bad.
Yeah, can you
I
get
got
it
wrong.
right? Jesus, man. I know it's such a different name.
Yep.
Come on.
Strange Clouds.
What's up,
for
bud?
$5. What's up, Strange Clouds? Will a time ever come when you don't lead every show or at least talk about it in great detail with college football realignment?
What would you like us to talk about? Help me. Every time someone asks us this is what I'm going to ask you. What would you like to talk about? Because I got news for you. When we have, 100 DMs? Probably tons. I mean, it had to be, I don't know how many. People asking, hey, what's going on with this? You guys are going to,
I don't know when they started talking about this on Locked On Big 12. I have no idea. But in the last probably 5-6 days, we just get DMs every day. Hey, is this true? Hey, what do you know about this? Hey, can you talk about this? And we have tried not to talk about it. But this whole thing where there was, the powers that be are trying to keep it secret and not let anybody know, that was pretty much it for me. And the idea that the Pac-2 is going to get a $600 million payout is wild. And the more wild part is that people believe that.
Yeah.
When the college football playoff payout is online, publicly available on the web. That's why I screenshotted this. I want you guys to see this is on the internet, man. You can go and look at it for yourself. There's nowhere in there that says a conference is going to make $600 million. Nowhere. It's wild to me. So you ask, we talk about what people ask us to talk about.
Yeah.
We talk about the biggest stories in sports. And if somebody says, hey, we're going to talk about a game show in our non-sports stories of the day today, where it's a dating show where people are naked. That was sent to us by 2 people and said, hey, this would be great for non-sports stories. Damn right it would. We agree wholeheartedly. Hellabilly, what's up, Hellabilly? Not as bad as you thought you were going to be at West Virginia, eh? Mountain Mama. The new guy at Locked On Big 12 is horrible. I'm not a huge fan of saying this show sucks or that guy or our show's great. I don't think shows are bad or good. You either like a show or you don't. And I appreciate everybody being here. I don't like what they did to Josh Neighbors. I don't like the way they treated him. I'm thrilled that he got his gig at 365. I think he does a really nice job. I think he did a great job covering the Big 12 for Locked On. It's a real shame that happened. Kaufman for $5. I feel that I apologize for this topic. I'm happy you guys answered my question about this. Keep up the great work, Monty and Jake. Kaufman, thank you. Always good to see you, friend. Appreciate you being here. Let's see. Who else is in today? Washcloth Trick says NBA. We trust me. We talk a ton of NBA on this show. I think most people know that.
We've been talking NBA the last several days.
Yeah. Hey. Cam Harrison says Monty Show is always on point. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. We try. We talk about the biggest stories in sports. 100%. We talk about the biggest stories in sports. Let's see. Who else? Mike Smith. Cam can have more time to heal as long as Utah wins. The moment Utah loses, Cam will be cured. Tonight's a big one. We have a full preview of that game coming up in 27 minutes on the show. That is a big one.
I don't disagree with you.
That is a big, big one. I think he's probably able to play. We've heard about it repeatedly. He's such an important figure to that team. He is such an important guy to that football team. I just don't know what else I don't know what else you do. It is just, it's wild to me that we are seeing a situation where they're still undefeated. They've won a Pac-12 game and Cam hasn't taken a snap yet.
Yeah.
It's wild. Joey B, Washington State equals Colorado State with UW in Seattle and CU in Boulder. Kirk, the other thing we talked a lot about on the show was Kirk Schultz and the view of Kirk Schultz around college football, and it's not good. I don't know what it would take for the Big 12 to want to be in business with Kirk Schultz.
I think that's a real good. That's the thing.
That's a real deal. And I don't know how you fix that, frankly. I really don't know. Yeah. But I think that's going to be very difficult to do. That's just my opinion. But I think Kirk Schultz is a credibility problem for Washington State.
No doubt.
So, Immaculate. Conspiracy requires a crime. This is just business. So, Immaculate, you believe there's a conspiracy theory. Or maybe you don't. I don't know. I think it's ridiculous to think that there's a conspiracy in college football to try and keep the public from knowing the truth about finances in the college football playoff.
Over Oregon State and Washington State.
And do you really think that this conspiracy thing that Immaculate's talking about, is it on this show, whatever, said, hey, well, they're trying to make sure that Oregon State and Washington State and the rest of college football don't find out about this. So they're not allowing anybody to talk about it. And I'm like, dude, it's online.
Yeah.
What do you mean? That they're not allowing people to talk about it?
It's like widely available.
It's public information.
Yeah, like this. You go to get on the internet. Like, it's not hard.
And you understand that it's again. For everybody who believes this, and Immaculate, I'm not saying you believe this or that whatever. For anybody who believes this, this is the budget projection that was presented to the Oregon State Assembly by President Murphy and Scott Barnes, the athletic director. If they were getting $600 million or even wasn't it $320 million or whatever, would they have a $42.1 million shortfall?
Those are numbers of death.
They would not. There's no conspiracy theory. There's no effort. They're public institutions. You can't hide the information. It's against the law.
Yeah.
It has to be out there. They're not private institutions, friends. So I don't understand the conspiracy theory stuff. I don't. And there's a huge comment dump there, so I apologize. Mike Smith says Immaculate was the guy on the show. I don't understand what that means. What do you mean he was the guy on the show? Conference Commissioner Gumby, I'm not allowed to talk about how much I like the show, Grum. Yeah, shh.
Yeah, shut up, will you?
Don't tell anybody that we're close to 39,000, so they should
Hey, guys.
subscribe to the Monty Show.
Hey, guys.
Let's
Yeah, dude, come on.
Let's keep that quiet. We're at 38,997. We are three away from 39,000. Gary Wolf, Schultz knows nothing. Old 70s TV reference there. I like it. Charles Arnett, what's up, Charles? You do have to feel for Oregon State and Washington State fans and alumni. It's a terrible situation.
Conversation, right? Okay,
Yeah.
You want to talk about empathizing with the fan base and the fan base and the alumni and the staffers who have no control of this? That's fine. I'm with that. I think that, and I've been saying this. Like, Oregon State is truly a victim here. And there's definitely, in my opinion, a conversation around marketing and lack thereof and not doing a good enough job in that sense. But you're a victim here, no doubt.
Yep, I agree 100%. Hey, look at that. Another new member to the show, Chuck B. Let's go, Chuck.
Let's go, baby.
Love it, Chuck. Appreciate you joining the membership. You guys hit that join button. It really helps support the show. Thank you for that. Strange Clouds, $2 more. You could talk NFL, NBA, actual college football games. Dude, have you... That's all we've been talking about.
To the show, bro. Like, we do a 3-hour show.
Ask Okie State Gundy fans if we've talked college football on this show.
Dude, I love you, but maybe I don't know, man. I know it's Friday and it's been a long week, but you damn well know that we talk about games and stuff. And by the way, telling us to talk NFL, NBA, or actual college games. Why don't we be a little more specific?
And we had Will Howard on the show yesterday.
What do you mean, dude?
I mean, we talk about it. We talk college football in the NFL every day. John Teal for $2. Oregon, Washington State needs to just root for Clemson and FSU. Dude, the Clemson conspiracies that are out there are far more believable.
And that's how I look at it.
That Clemson is going to somehow escape the grant of rights in the ACC. Dude, that's like the chamber of death and the magician like dying underwater in a safe or some shit.
It's probably different than
the
what
grant
you're
of
thinking,
rights. Tip jar.
Damn.
The grant of rights in the ACC is rock solid. If Clemson is able to get out of it, that's going to be a lifeline for Oregon State and Washington State.
And I love the conversation around, like, for all the tinfoil folks out there around ESPN, I love the conversation around, hey, dude, it behooves TV networks to get, brands like Clemson or UNC or Florida State out of the ACC situation and into the SEC and the Big Ten so that they can rework those TV contracts and bring in more sales into their fold at ESPN. Like, okay, cool. That actually has some legs, right? If you think about it, it would make sense at that point. But that's my thing with this Oregon State, Washington State situation.
Exactly.
We're talking about Oregon State and Washington State, not Clemson and UNC.
Exactly.
Even though Clemson is down, obviously, Fivehead's not there anymore, as I say all the time.
Fivehead.
Like, Clemson's down, but they're still Dabo, they're still Clemson, they're still every single year a relevant team. Whether you like it or not doesn't matter. They're relevant.
Dabo.
And that's it.
Strange Clouds for $5. When you talk about the same subject for literally 6 months straight, it gets old. I'd rather talk about actual sports going on. Do you really think we enjoy? Do you not hear the frustration in my voice when we are having to debunk conspiracy theories about the powers that be trying to keep publicly available information from being publicly available?
And here's the other problem with that, dude. And again, I'm not making this personal with you. There's no need to get all upset. I'm just pointing out the holes in this argument or this complaint. If you think that we've talked about the same thing every single day, you don't understand that it's not the same thing every day. It may fall under the same umbrella of, the Pac-12 TV
but
deal.
But who's not talking about football realignment and Big 12 expansion and the Pac-12 TV deal?
Who's not talking about Prime? Who's not talking, dude, we've talked, dude.
Yeah, look at all the shows we did on Prime.
Understand.
Jake was naked on the show.
Yeah, dude, I was freaking oiled up. Okay, no,
that's
I wasn't. Okay.
It's probably different than what you're thinking.
Yeah, that's
Listen,
a lie.
Dude.
That was at home in your bedroom.
Dude, okay, that's true. That's very, very true.
Macaque.
Yeah. Dude, the reality of the situation is it's been a slow summer in sports. I understand why you're frustrated.
Don't you think we would love to have had blockbuster trade after trade in the NBA? There was nothing in the NBA.
You're the one that gets to sit there in your recliner while you drink a beer and watch the show on your TV, dude.
We got to actually do a show.
We have to do the content. So trust me when I say, yeah, sure, I'd love to not talk about this every day for 6 months, but when, again, and I just want you to know this, because I don't want you to think that we're just scheming out here. We were not going to talk about this today, but when we're getting DM, just pounded.
And I'm not
DMs.
exaggerating. Hundreds of DMs saying, hey, talk about, hey, what do you know? Can you get hundreds of DMs on that?
Yes.
And not just on Twitter, on my Instagram as well. I'm out there playing golf this morning. Ding, 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 ding,
Literally.
Ding.
I literally asked him, we're out on the golf course, and his phone keeps going off.
Ding, ding, ding.
And I'm like, dude, will you shut your phone up, bro? We're out on the golf course trying to have a nice time for 5 minutes, and all your phone's doing is, dude, shut up.
And the driver's doing the same thing.
Yeah, dude, hey, dude, my God.
Let's see. UW fan Jim. What's up, Jim? Good to see you. Live in Seattle, and I think you guys are selling the Cougar fans short. They are think here. Restate that for me.
Yeah, run it back.
I think that and this is what I was saying before, a guy in television at a major sports entity told me Washington State does pull in Seattle. But when the Huskies are on, Washington State does a far lower number. It's just not the same thing. And Spokane belongs there's a lot of people and maybe reality is different than perception. I don't know, but there's a lot of people who believe Spokane belongs to Gonzaga basketball.
Gonzaga.
And I think it's hard to argue that. Washington State, but Washington State has good TV numbers, and I don't want to slight them at all.
Look, it's not that they don't have TV numbers, right? But there's a formula to this, right? Yes, TV numbers, consistent TV numbers, which you do have pretty consistent TV numbers
at Washington
State. There's no question about that, but I think at the same time, it's relevancy nationally. Washington is more relevant nationally than Cam Ward and company, right? Washington, just as a brand, I don't care if you have a Heisman Trophy caliber quarterback or not. You are more relevant nationally to the people that matter, ESPN, Fox, whoever it may be that weekend. You're more relevant to those people. So when Toyota or Bucked Up or whoever wants to get into the Seattle market or whichever market we're talking about, when they want to get into that market and get in front of as many eyeballs as possible, it's not Washington State or Oregon State. It's Washington or Oregon, and if we really want to get nitty-gritty, it's Gonzaga. And in the areas in and around locally where Washington State and Oregon State are, okay, that's a different thing. If you want to make an impact locally, sure, you'll go with those brands. But as far as national notoriety, that's where you're going to struggle.
And I think the other thing people don't understand, and just because I've worked in the industry, I have direct experience with this. When somebody like Toyota wants to spend their money, it's feel, not real.
Yeah. Speaking
of really crappy golf swing, it's feel, not real. I would tell you, and I'm just using Toyota as an example, or Boeing, because it's Washington, let's use Boeing. Or Amazon or Starbucks, if they want to spend college football money, do you think they're like, well, Washington State? No. They're like, if we want to penetrate Seattle, we probably should spend on the Seahawks one. And, Washington's a really good team this year. These are the conversations that happen. They're like, hey.
Excellent strategy, sir.
We need to get the Camry moving in Seattle. Our EV units are low. Where are we going to spend our sports dollars? They're going to say Seahawks number 1, Washington football number 2.
Yeah.
And my guess is they will go to the Seattle Mariners third. I don't think Washington State is probably top 5 because the Kraken, I think, could be top 5 this time of year. With preseason open in the NHL, Connor Bedard is really
savage,
crushing souls. Go Hawks. But I would tell you that I think the Kraken would be 4th, and I think Washington State's probably 5th in Seattle. The problem is Toyota's not spending money in Spokane the way they are in Seattle.
Yeah.
So it's feel, not real. When you're spending money and you're placing dollars, trust me, we do this every single day. We talk to major think people like advertising agencies,
Hey guys,
people like small businesses, major corporations, and what's the first thing they say? Hey, what's your market penetration like? We've had the direct conversation. Hey, we need market penetration in South Florida. What's your reach? Like the other day, a company was asking me, what's your reach in South Florida? We really need South Florida. And we're like talking about, hey, we're here, this city to get like, that's what the conversations are like. They're not like, well, they're direct conversations about marketplaces. And if somebody wants Seattle, somebody wants Portland, do you think they're thinking, well, Portland, that's Oregon State? No, I don't think they are. I think they're thinking Blazers with the NBA season coming, and I think they're thinking Oregon football. Yeah. Anywhere in the state of Oregon, I guarantee you it's Oregon Ducks football. Okay, there endeth the lesson. I'll shut up now. Court McMullen says, love the show. Court, the show loves you, sir. Appreciate you. Hella Billy. I'm glad the boys are 3-1. We'll always love the team, but still want Brownie boy gone. Well, isn't there a West Virginia fan who's like, yeah, fire Neil Brown?
No, Neil Brown needs fired.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. You're not alone in that, Hella Billy. You're not alone. Casey Anthony got away with it for $5. I live in Clemson. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Know all the people who would know and decision makers, and 100% Clemson is gone by 2026. This is real, and almost certainly it is SEC.
In God's name, image, and likeness.
I don't see, and we've talked about this on the show, Clemson isn't a fit in the Big Ten.
No. Nope.
I don't think they're a fit at all in any way, shape, or form in the Big 12. I think their only place is the SEC.
Yeah.
Now, like North Carolina is a really interesting example, because let's say Casey Anthony got away with it for $5 and your mom and stuff is correct. By 2026, Clemson's gone.
stay hard.
Florida State's gone. Certainly Carolina's gone. NC State probably. And Duke's not hanging out.
Duke is Duke.
And we already told you who broke the story that Miami was a problem and wanted out.
Yeah,
we
the Cristobal's.
Yeah. I'm telling you, that's when you're going to see Oregon State and Washington State with a real chance to find a way out. UW fan Jim says, sorry, thick here. Oh, to go back to your other comment, where is that? I apologize. Live in Seattle, and I think you guys are selling the Cougar fans short. They are thick here. Yeah, and I think that's why they draw a number. I totally agree, UW fan. Raptor 88, let's talk about the Bears instead. Stop.
Dude, what's there to
I'll refund
talk
your
about,
money
dude?
right now. Actually, I won't.
My bad.
We're going to talk. The Bears game's on our list. They're going to lose 14 straight. The Chicago. I can't even say it out loud. Raptor 88, that was not nice. Oh, you meant the California Golden Bear. No, they're not good either. They're not good either. Big Blue Horses for $5. Can you imagine the carnage from a blown-up ACC grant of rights deal that is viewed as ironclad? Litigation Nation, baby. Bring it on.
Where's
Popcorn,
my boy,
anyone?
Where's my boy, Boss Frog?
Yeah, seriously. Wet Blanket gives us a middle finger for calling us Okie State. Okay, I'll never do it again.
Okay, what do they want? What do you want to be called?
I don't know.
What do you want to be called? I don't know.
Jeremy Callahan. Will Howard was on the show yesterday. God damn it, I miss one day.
Yeah, dude, I mean, you're casual. I mean, you can't miss shows.
Yeah.
We don't miss shows, so how can you miss shows?
It's on the channel, by the way. You can go back and watch the entire. He was great. I'm a huge Will Howard guy.
Yeah, listening to him talk about packing the box was incredible. What?
You're a child, sir. Admittedly, when he said packing the box, that went through my mind. It is
reset.
What it is. Luna Lovegood. Okay.
Oh, a little Harry Potter reference here.
Immaculate gives Tupac handies on Twitter to get their hopes up.
Okay, wait. What? Gives what?
Oh,
bro. Hello.
The Tupac news is in my head. Immaculate gives Pac-2 handies on Twitter to get their hopes up. Okay, so who is Immaculate?
Yeah.
Are you somebody we should know about? Like, I don't.
Yeah, who's
and I'm not
Immaculate?
trying to be an a-hole.
Yeah.
Look, man. I'm not trying to. And clearly you're a member of the program. I appreciate that.
People are misinterpreting what I'm saying.
I don't know your work, and I don't know what you do. And if I should, I apologize, I don't. Interesting take, Luna Lovegood. Tarrant County boy, no. Monty talks lots of NHL. Go Hawks.
God, I wish we could.
I wish I wish we could too. The real Slim Shady. Why are we even talking about this when Taylor Swift is going to be in New York? Exactly. Conundrum.
Dude, where you been, bro?
ACC determined OSU Wazoo value when they bought Calford. Well,
that's a fair point.
So one of the people I talked to today said we would have gone to the ACC. They never returned a phone call. Perception's reality. It's feel, not real. I'll just keep using that phrase. And I know Scott Barnes. I think Scott Barnes is one of the best athletic directors in the country.
Yeah.
I have a ton of respect for Scott Barnes at Oregon State. If he can't get a phone call return, no phone calls coming.
It is what it is, dude.
You know, I just don't, yeah. J.K. Marshall, Clemson wants to go to the Pac-2. I've heard that. Dabo wants those West Coast vibes.
We built this program on NIL.
Did you guys hear Dianne Feinstein died today? 90 years old. Incredible public servant. And Dabo wants to, nope, not doing it. Pause on that edging, Conference Commissioner Gumby says. What? Who's edging? No. You're not going to suck me into a convert. Well, okay, that came out.
Wow,
wrong.
dude. I mean, seriously, this is a family program.
Macaque.
Let's see. 49er UCLA Wolverine. Come on, guys. I joined the Taylor Swift for Taylor Swift sports talk. Taylor Swift raised ticket prices for Jet fans $120.
We get it.
Did you guys hear that? Yeah, we talked about it yesterday on the show. Taylor Swift announced, or it got out somehow purposefully.
It leaked.
The Jets probably leaked it, that she was going to the game. It's Chiefs and Jets in a game that we're going to talk about. Chiefs and Jets this weekend, right? And Taylor Swift, who is not officially, but pretty much procreating and sharing, DNA with Travis Kelce, is like, oh, I think I'll go to the game in New York next week.
Here I am.
Ticket prices went up $120.
We get it. We get it.
And I asked yesterday the same thing I'll ask now. That's cool. You're going to pay $120 more to be within 100,000 people at Taylor Swift. Oh, Mom, it was amazing.
Oh, my God.
What did you do on Sunday? Did you go to the football game? No, I went to the Taylor Swift nearing event where I could not be close to her at all.
A lot.
I'm a Swiftie now.
Wow.
How many Taylor Swift black market T-shirts will be sold on the streets outside MetLife?
Oh, a ton.
In the lots. You know that's happening.
A ton.
You know that is
100%.
happening. Come on now. And donuts for $5. What's up? Like him or hate him, Portnoy catching the WAPO reporting lies was classic. That's an ugly situation, dude. Like, man, Dave Portnoy. What would Dave Portnoy do if he had no drama for a year? Can you imagine how powerful he would be?
No.
I mean, that guy always seems, and whether it's self-made or whatever, but you should go read it. Dave Portnoy, Washington Post. Google search it. It's wild.
Yeah.
But if that guy had a free runway for a year, what would he do? The pizza that guy would eat would be amazing. That's a Portnoy reference. Casey Anthony says, advice to the Bears, tank for Caleb.
Seriously.
They don't have to tank because we've lost 13 straight games.
It's not the best situation, and we all know that.
The Chicago Bears.
13
straight. We're terrible. Don't have a quarterback. Okie State, James, if you want to say a shortcut for Oklahoma State, you can use Oak State. P.S. I got my bucked up yesterday. Let's go.
Wait, are you being serious? Oak State?
Okie State really pisses people off. I apologize. I did not know that. I was not doing that to be a jerk.
Okay, that's enough. Stop, please.
I will just either say Pokes or Oklahoma State or Oak State, or I will never use Okie State again.
It is what it is.
Very much like Frisco, then, it feels like, which is very derogatory for San Francisco. Dax Johnson. Dax.
Hey, Dax.
Look, it's Dax Johnson.
Nice Johnson.
As in, like, possessive, like Nick's Chubb. As a Swiftie, I love all the Taylor Swift talk.
Are you really a Swiftie, bro?
I did not, although I will say we used your phone for music this morning.
And I'm a more responsible individual, so I don't have Taylor Swift in playlist. So what did we get today?
Oh my God, it just hit me. What was the weird song that played on your phone? A James Taylor song played on his phone today.
Well,
just saying, a James Taylor song.
If you guys want to get into conspiracies, let's do it about Taylor Swift, not Oregon State, okay?
No, let's do it about iPhones. My iPhone is
Infowars.com.
I am getting notifications from a week ago. Like, what is going on? And I get a new phone in like a week.
Thank you.
Edgar for $2. Football at 50, 10 of the hour every hour. The Chicago Bears should be relegated to the No. The Rock should be the starting quarterback of the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, he'd be better.
It'd be an upgrade.
What the fuck are you, Ranger Rick?
Yeah, it would be an upgrade. Alex Rea, Bears like to hibernate. Good for the Bears, bad for sports.
Yeah, seriously, dude.
The Chicago, you guys, do you think it's 14 in a row this weekend?
Yes.
Now, thankfully, it's Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos, right? Bronco Nation, let's roll.
Dude, if the Broncos lose to the Bears,
oh my God,
heads will roll.
It would be
stay hard.
Like
yeah, I don't even know, bro.
The Broncos won't lose to the Bears, right?
I mean, you would think not, but hey, we're 1 pick 6 away.
Broncos are 3.5 over on 46. I'm taking the Broncos to cover, and it goes under because I don't see an offense for the beloved, the Chicago Bears, that can score points.
That's the bottom line.
I don't. Little breaking news out of Major League Baseball, by the way. I think this is current.
It is.
Because my phone is giving me notifications from 10 years ago. Jerks. Gabe Kapler fired by the San Francisco Giants.
Boom. Out of here.
See you later. Gabe
You're
Kapler.
filling in for somebody.
Fired by the... You are filling in for somebody. Fired by the San Francisco Giants today.
Yep.
He had just gotten a vote of confidence like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, well... And excuse me, he wasn't fired. He was dismissed. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. They amicably parted company.
Boom. Out of here.
That's a lie. I think the Bears will lose 14 in a row.
Yeah.
Honest to goodness. And I hope that's not true. You guys know I love my Chicago Bears. But it is what it is. I see all the comments about Immaculate.
What are they saying?
I don't know. I have no idea what Immaculate is or does, or somebody fill me in. Because I don't know, and I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. Honest to goodness. Immaculate, if you have a show or something, I don't know of it, and I apologize. I am not trying to disrespect you.
Who the fuck is that guy?
I do not know, honestly. Tarrant County, boy, the Bears to the Pac-2. Tell me Oregon State wouldn't be favored over the Chicago Bears and Corvallis.
Pac-10.
Corvallis.
Yeah.
Yeah, Corvallis, Idaho.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where they play and what Corvallis. Dude, would the Bears be favored over the Oregon State Beavers right now?
Yes.
I have my doubts. Connor Johnson, Beaver, Chainsaw, Beaver. Okay. I mean, you know.
So wait, what are people saying we should know who this guy is?
Yeah, I don't understand the reference to the show.
Yeah,
I don't. You guys, I don't get it. Jeremy Callahan says Jesus, Monty. Is Immaculate Jesus Christ? If he is, that's why he's immaculate.
Venice parade.
I mean, yeah, let's have a parade for him. Like I'm here for it. And yes, I get it. I'm not the brightest guy, right? Like, I'm not the brightest guy. I get it. I have no idea.
Hey, look here, man.
When I say you guys, when I say I don't make things personal,
And with all due respect,
it's not personal for me. So if Immaculate is somehow involved in college football, I don't know what. And I'm reading the tea leaves. I don't know, Jeremy. I don't know what the Jesus Monty thing's about, but you know.
What else we got?
Yeah, I don't know. Jeremy also says we all have filled you like a jumbo calzone from Papa Murphy's. I mean,
I don't know. Like
Aaron Wilson says I'm immaculate. Immaculate says, I'm not mad at you, Monty.
Dude,
I appreciate
Immaculate,
that.
what is your deal, dude?
Yeah, tell us
what's
who you
your
are.
story?
What do you do?
Like, what do you, like, what do you do? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that him right there?
Immaculate, you can believe what you wish. That is okay. If you want to hear my side, feel free to reach out on X or whatever. I'm just a dude with an opinion based on Navigate research. Okay.
That's fine.
I'm not, dude, you're a member of our show. Like, I want your opinion. I want you to tell me what you think. I don't have any problem with it. I mean, please. Lee Jensen, immaculate, the word Swifters use for their relationship. Well, I mean,
Swifters now. It's not Swifties.
So wait, are we
Swifters.
replacing? It's no longer. It's no longer. Oh my God, Tanner Plummer. Soaking. It's now immaculate.
Yeah.
Right. I have no idea.
So wait, we've gone from soaking to immaculate to Swifties and Swiffers.
J.K. Marshall. The Bears are a bunch of jagoffs.
Yeah,
Let's go.
There it is,
Let's
dude.
go.
Let's go,
Let's
dude.
go.
Let's
Friday's
go, baby.
officially underway. We got our first jagoff in today. Let's go. Thank you, J.K. Marshall. Bickelhoff says you know how to start rooting for your team to lose because they're so bad and something has to change. Broncos fan here. Are you going to be?
I'll have to figure something out.
Yeah. Are you going to be upset when they beat my Chicago Bears? Because they're beating my Chicago Bears.
Well, once they beat the Bears, they're going to the Super Bowl, obviously.
Salty Drunk apologizes for being late, dude. I so miss Australia. I want to come down so bad.
Hey, guys.
Good to see you. Kyle A., hey, what's up? He's a listener, obviously. He is, but...
No, it's more than that,
It's more than
yeah,
that.
He's listened to the show for a long time.
Yeah.
I know his name on our show. I didn't realize that our Immaculate was the same guy that I guess was on Locked On Big 12.
Oh. Is that... Oh, fuck.
That's
is that true?
That's what they're saying. God, dude, come on.
Fucking A.
Dude.
Tip jar, my bad. Is that true, Immaculate? You were on Locked On Big 12.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Is that he's the guy that was on the show.
Okay.
Wow, Dad. Wow.
Are you serious?
That's what it's.
How?
That's
how.
Apparently.
Okay, now I need to know.
Yeah, now, buddy here needs a full explanation.
Yeah, now I don't get it. Now I don't.
Okay,
I don't get it.
Can anyone contribute to the tinfoil fund, please?
Just
we have a
tell
bunch
me
of windows over here.
Please, God, if God. Well, hello, Dianne Feinstein. Rest in peace. God, if you are out there, please tell me that Immaculate's not the conspiracy theorist on Locked On Big 12. I feel like an asshole. If that's the truth, how, man?
Unbelievers.
Immaculate, I actually like Monty, and I'm not mad about this. I just wish I could explain. So explain.
Yeah, explain, dude.
Explain yourself.
Yeah, dude, it's cool.
Mike Smith. Immaculate was the guest on Locked On Big 12 show, the one you called a conspiracy. So it was him. God dang it,
Well, that's the issue, isn't it?
How do I find myself in these situations all the time? Like, are you oh my God. You know, how? The one you call a conspiracy guy, he was just expressing opinions and not trying to pass it off as fact or inside info. Okay.
Well, the only reason we talked about this today is because everyone took it as fact.
I haven't seen it. And now I feel like I should go and watch it because you're on the show and I at least owe you that. Wow. How? Jeremy Callahan in all caps. I'm not going to yell it even though I should. He is the one on Locked On Big 12 you have been talking about the whole show. Like, okay. Hey, man.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Immaculate, I don't know where you got $600 million, but that just ain't happening. Bro. The Buffalo Hunter. Immaculate is Greg Swaim's burner account. But Greg Swaim watches the show.
I knew today would be shitty.
Well, that's kind of true. My God. J.K. Marshall, Immaculate is friends with Taylor Swift. I hope... So you guys are being...
So you can get $600 million after all.
If you're Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
That's what you pay the merch guys. Did you hear how much you paid our merch guys? He's Immaculate. You know the thing? Okay.
I guess.
Okay. This guy has no clue. I'm more plugged in watching this show. But it's not... Listen, if it was your opinion, that's not how it was presented to me.
Yeah, a lot of people... And we'll go watch it after the show or whatever. Before Monday, we'll watch it. And... You know, I'll be again. I'm not keeping any secrets here. Like a ton of people DM'd us about it and said, "Hey, this dude is saying X, Y, and Z."
It was said to us, Locked On Big 12 is reporting Oregon State and Washington State are about to get an invite to the Big 12. Like 100 of them.
Repeatedly,
all the time. Like, hey, they're. I think it was Brett who was DMing me saying, "Hey, they're saying that." You know, they're trying to, hide the fact that they're getting $600 million. They're not. There is no There is no way, shape, or form that they have access to. It's fine.
And by the way, I mean, if you're saying you came to that opinion based on whatever you said, research or whatever terminology you use there, present it. I mean, if you've got something to substantiate it, that's cool.
Yeah, that's wild. Connor Johnson, shout out to James. Go Pokes. That's what I'm saying. Conundrum, Monty's Monday Show headline, immaculate to the Big 12.
I'm screwed.
Brett Yormark fired, immaculate hired. I guess. I don't know. Immaculate soaking, it is always an immaculate act, soaking. Okay, immaculate is Clownzano. Okay, go easy.
Relax, dude. Relax.
I'm not going to convict a guy. I haven't seen it. I don't know. Did you present it as fact? I mean, I'll watch it, and if I don't know if you're on Twitter or if you're.
What's Twitter?
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if you're on X.
Yeah, X.
Whoa. But Aaron Wilson says immaculate sounds like he's on Arizona time. We've heard that about immaculate. Immaculate versus Baltimore on street beefs. Well,
street beefs.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm not, dude. I have no axe to grind with immaculate at all. Jeremy Callahan. Now do you see what Jesus Monty was about? Well, man, I'm flying blind over here, bro. I haven't got 3 minutes in the day to watch a podcast.
You got 3 minutes for something else.
Well,
Macaque.
Yeah. But, Conference Commissioner Gummy, Monty haircut looking crispy. Yeah, it's like 2 weeks old. Thank you.
Thank you.
Immaculate. I posted on the X page for this episode. Feel free to reach out. It's really not that big of a deal, Monty.
Well, we're not trying to make it a big deal. We're just having fun with it.
No, we're just doing listen, man. I'll watch it, and I mean, if you want to come on the show, if it's that, here's what I'll say. If you're presenting it as your opinion, that'll be one thing. I don't care if it's your opinion. That's great. You're allowed to have an opinion. But my question is, why is Locked On Big 12? Do you host Locked On Big 12? I'm confused. I'll go watch it.
I don't really get it.
I don't get it, Coach. I'll go watch it. I'm a fart smeller, not a smart feller. Like, I'm just,
Right.
Connor Johnson, first ever call-in. MJ Bissett, immaculate soaking. No, this is a question for Travis Kelce. Ooh. I'm not there with Swift. There's the Monty praying pose, making a bobblehead like that. I probably should make a bobblehead like that. Mike Smith simply says his cock. Well, look, man, I mean, it's one of those things. It happens.
Waves
right?
in opposition. Anita Dick is an opponent. Waves in opposition. Holden Hiscock is also an opponent. Anita Dick.
You're welcome, Mike. You're welcome. I am here for you. Kevin, comment dump. What does immaculate have to do with Swaim?
No
I have
idea.
No idea.
Couldn't tell you.
I have no idea.
Literally no idea.
I really don't know. All right. Edgar Alas says the Bears will tank and draft immaculate in 2024. I believe that's what is on their board. I believe, that. No, they won't do that.
Do you believe?
Casey Anthony, Justin Fields is a jagoff. There's number 2. He couldn't beat out Jake Fromm and the whole racial slur incident to enable transfer to Ohio State was very questionable. Look, man.
No comment. Nope. No.
Show. Cleveland Rocks. What's up, Cleveland Rocks? Is Deshaun Watson back? This is, this Browns game this weekend, dude. This is a big, big deal. This is a big deal. This Browns game, where is it? Baltimore at Cleveland. The Browns are 1.5 points.
Yeah, dude.
And Roquan Smith does not agree.
Considered the bad guy because you're going into essentially another man's house and you're trying to take over, like his wife, kids, everyone there to watch them. So we going over to beat their tails in front of their wife and kids. So when you think about it from that perspective, like any man's going to, fight to the death in that point. I know if that's me in that case, I know I would. So I think about it from that standpoint, and I'm just going in, just like I prepare for any other game. Play to the whistle, play physical, and hit anything that moves.
I'm for real.
Wow. Look, I'm all for Roquan. I miss my guy on the Bears. I don't know that I'd be saying that when Cleveland is favored at home by 1.5 and the number's only 39.
Yeah.
How is it's wild to me how quickly the fortunes have changed for the Browns.
Seriously.
Because the Washcloth King, he played pretty well last week.
Yeah, I think DTR is going to be outstanding for them, though, if he plays.
No, I think Deshaun's going to play. I would be shocked if he didn't. Immaculate is a good guy with interesting takes. I don't doubt that.
Yeah, I'm not saying otherwise.
I don't doubt that. Mike Smith, first time the Browns have been favored in multiple games in a season. Ever. Cleveland rocks. Browns win if they keep Jackson in the pocket. I would agree with that.
Good luck with that.
Bob Smith, half the Ravens roster is injured. I agree with that. Mike Smith, Jeremy Callahan, he is on the Holy Rival show all the time. He is also a regular caller on Peak Around the Corner. Okay. Immaculate, do you have a channel? If not, probably about time to start. Yeah, you might want to, go out on your own. If you're, dude, why did you go on Locked On Big 12? You could have done this on your own. Alex Rhea, hide your kids, hide your wife. What is Roquan doing?
Talking that junk, dude.
All right, the Monty Show, hour number 2, presented by our good friends at TryDayTrading.com. How about Mrs. Monty going through the TryDayTrading.com program? Yes, she is. She is on the path, you guys. No more talking and not walking. Mrs. Monty's going through the program. She is really somebody that is, I think, a perfect candidate for it. She has a big-time job, and she wants to be a juggernaut. And I say, hey, make all that bread, baby. Daddy needs new shoes. But that's what I love about TryDayTrading.com. My wife has a big-time corporate America job. She wants to trade part-time, so she's going through the program, and I am just so thrilled for her because the freedom that money provides you, money doesn't. A lot of people think that money allows you to buy things. Money buys you one thing above everything else: time. Time and freedom. That's what money gives you. When you have a lot of money, you have all the time you want and all the freedom you want, and you're making choices because you want to make those choices, not because you have to. You're doing the things you want to do, not the things you have to do. That's what TryDay Trading is all about. They give you the opportunity to make that money $1,000 a day on average. When you graduate the TryDayTrading.com program as a full-time day trader, you can make $1,000 a day on average. If you want to do it part-time, $300 to $500 a day. And all you have to do is sign up for their $10 30-day trial membership. And it's so well done because that $10 goes to charity, so it's a tax write-off. TryDayTrading.com is an education program. It's a tax write-off. They're going to give you high-level coaching, access in that 30 days to their entire program. Then you're just going to make a decision. Hey, this is for me. Great, let's do it. And you're going to go on, you're going to graduate the program and live the life you've always thought about. That's as easy as it is. But hey, at the end of that 30 days, if it's not for you, it's not for you, man. And I totally understand that, walk away, but nobody ever does because you recognize quickly it's legit, man. So go to TryDayTrading.com. Make sure you sign up for the $10 30-day trial membership, and then let's get about making life grand. Thrive, my friends. Let me know when you're ready to do it. I'll tell you how Mrs. Monty's doing. I'm super excited. She wants to go through the program at TryDayTrading.com. Big game tonight. It is Utah at Oregon State. It is 7 o'clock, FS1. How about Oregon State, a 4-point favorite in the game at 44? How surprised are you that Oregon State's favored in this game, Jake?
I think it's pretty on point. I think that Utah without Cam Rising, I think it's a different team. I mean, that's just the reality of it. I think the Cinderella story of Nate Johnson is great. I love Nate Johnson. I love what he can do, but these are the games where you get exposed for being a freshman. And these are the games where you're going on the road, you're playing a day earlier than you normally do, you're going to be in a tough environment, and turnovers are going to happen in this game. I have no doubt about that. And if Nate Johnson comes out of this game without turnovers, that will be an outstanding performance. But I struggle to see that happening. And I think that this is one of those games every single year where Utah goes up to play Oregon State or vice versa, and these teams are looking to prove a point. And this is one where, you look at DJ Uiagalelei and you say, hey, dude, it's time to perform. This is what you came here to do. This is the game where you're like, hey, I need you to ball out tonight. I need you to play well. So when we look at the line, -4.5, yeah, I think that's pretty spot on. I think this is a close game. I don't think Utah runs away with this one. And frankly, Utah hasn't really done much running away outside of the Florida game. I mean, you're talking about one possession game wins since the Florida game. So I think it's pretty spot on, but we'll see.
I think this is a big, big game. I think it is potentially one of the games of the year for Utah. I think Corvallis is one of the toughest outs. I am a believer in Kyle Whittingham. I think if you've watched this show for 2 minutes, I hold him in very high regard. And I think when you start looking at this a national TV game, I think it is DJ Uiagalelei's biggest game of his career. It is the best defense, arguably, that he has ever faced.
Yeah.
I think this is an opportunity for him to show that he is a big-time NFL prospect. You have the entire national spotlight to yourself tonight. You are clearly the biggest game of the weekend on a Friday night. You are the biggest game on Friday night of a weekend that, let's be honest, this weekend doesn't have a whole lot of marquee games in it, right? Ole Miss, LSU, I mean, there's a couple out there. This is one of the biggest games of the weekend because this will define seasons, right? Oregon at 4 or 4.5, depending on your book, they're going to have to win the offensive line. Oregon State's offensive line is going to have to beat Utah's defensive line if Oregon State has any chance to win the game. And I just don't see that happening. I mean, I think their running game at Oregon State is absolutely lethal. And I think guys like Lander Barton are here for it. I think, look, the Fanos on the offensive and defensive line, I think they're here for it. You look at the way these linebackers and safeties cover and tackle for Utah, they're all about this. If I'm the Utah Utes, I am making DJ Uiagalelei throw the ball and throw Oregon State to a win, Jake, because I think that's the only way it happens.
Yeah, and I think that if you can put them in a position where they're off schedule, I think that's where you want to be. Will Howard, K-State quarterback, joined us yesterday on the show, talked all about how, Coach Klieman tells him, hey, keep us on schedule. We don't want to be in 3rd and 10 plus. And I think if you're Utah's defense, that's what you're looking to do. I think, guys like Karenni Reed, like, you got to have a nice game tonight, man.
Huge game.
You gotta fill up that A gap, but you also got to do a good job of playing your zone behind the defensive line. And if you can do that, and you can make DJ, stay to the boundary, not live in the middle of the field, I think you're going to be, in a pretty good place. But again, that's why I say, like, with this Utah team, Ute fans are like, hey, we're 4-0 overall, 1-0 in conference. That is true. That's 100% true. But I'm saying you're 2 plays away from being 2-2 and 0-1, in my opinion.
Well, and if you look at Oregon State coming out of Pullman last weekend, if that game's played at Research Stadium, Oregon State's probably 4-0, not 3-1. And you have to believe that Oregon State's going to be ready to go. They know they can't drop 2 in a row. Their hopes of a 10-win season probably hang in the balance. I think this is going to be massive. And I think I would do exactly the opposite of what Washington State did. You cannot allow Oregon State to run all over you. I think you have got to keep DJ Uiagalelei to 25, 30 yards rushing on the ground, certainly less than 200 through the air. And I think you've got – and this is where I think this game ultimately comes down to it. I don't know what's going on with Cam Rising at this point when I make this prediction. If Utah's going to win this game, they are going to throw themselves to a win.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe in this Oregon State secondary. The linebackers are sus in coverage. That secondary, And Cam Ward's a hell of a quarterback, but 404 yards throwing. Cam Ward, 28 of 34, 404 and 4 touchdowns. Throw the goddamn ball, boys.
Well, and that's why I say, like, you know, again, with Nate Johnson, like, he's got a good arm on him. But, again, he's still a young guy. He's still learning as he goes. And so, you know, when we talk about, like, you know, the clock running more and a few less possessions a game and less opportunities, dude, when I see Kyle Whittingham saying things like they run it to perfection, you know, it's all about fitting the right gaps and being in the right spot at the right time with the right fundamentals and technique. Like, that's why I say, like, this game for Utah, as usual, is probably decided on the defensive side of the ball, but it would really be nice if you could go to the half with the lead, even if that's a field goal. Like, you don't want to be trailing in this game. You don't want to be playing from behind, because what happens when you play from behind for young guys? Well, they tense up, they tighten up, they don't play as loose, they don't play as free. You don't get their best because they know, hey, we're on the road, we got to make these plays. It's just like any other athlete. So that's why I say I think it's crucial. You don't even have to score first, but I think that first big play, defensive turnover, you know, shot down the field, like look at the Florida game to start the year, right?
Yes.
The bomb the money parks. Like, you need something like that in this game for Utah for them to be successful on the road. And I think you will see attempts at that, but don't be surprised if there is a strip created by this Utah defense, because you can't tell me they're not hunting for that tonight.
Yeah, I think this is all about the quarterback for Utah, because I think that Oregon State is probably one of the few teams in the conference that at the line of scrimmage can hang with Utah. They don't have a secondary to cover. And if Utah's going to win this game, you're probably going to have to have a very efficient performance at quarterback. If Cam Rising doesn't play, and really, you guys, if he does play, my biggest question is, hey, how good is he going to be? Because you're probably not breaking 100 yards rushing in this game. That would be a great performance. You're going to have to throw yourself to a win over Oregon State. That's my biggest question. It's why I've got Utah winning 24-21, and I think it goes under. This game is going to be an absolute face breaker at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
I think you're looking at a very close game on the over. And I would probably take Utah. If you were happening to put ducats on the line, I'd probably take Utah on the money line. I think I would take Utah to win outright, and it goes under. But that 44 is not a lot of points. I think I'd take the under here.
Yeah, you know, I think, yeah, Utah definitely, I'm taking Utah to win this game. So that would mean that they would cover that. You know, I think that I think that 44 potentially, you know, that's a really tough number, because in one circumstance I could see this going just slightly over, you know, under 50 points for sure. But, like, I think 44 is right in that sweet spot. It's a really good number on this game. And so, you know, I would love to see Utah be like 24-17 in this game, you know, 27-24, like a real close game where Utah gets a stop at the end to win this one. That's what I think you're looking at here.
Yeah, and there are early reports coming out that Cam Rising is not going to play. Boy, that's a little concerning.
Yeah, I mean,
you only put up 14 on UCLA last week. You don't run the ball well, especially not against Oregon State. Boy, that is – I'm going to stay on my pick, 24-21 Utah, but this now is going to be a fight to the death. You are going to have to get a turnover.
Yeah.
Conference Commissioner Gumby says 27-21 Beavs. OG Gary comment dump. I apologize about that. OG Gary, 21-18, Utah win in a walk-off field goal.
Hey, that could be.
Rudy Martinez, Oregon State, 38. How are they scoring 38 on the Utes defense?
Yeah.
38, Utah 20. This is the best defense that DJ Uiagalelei has probably ever played against.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that. UTEP greater than Louisiana State, J.K. Marshall says. Wow, I mean, revelations abound. Jim Choi, your mark to Oregon State. They're getting the invite if they beat the Utes. Utes by 35 points. That would be amazing. Ron Nolan, save a tree, eat a beaver. My favorite T-shirt in high school. My girlfriends liked it too. Hey.
Hiscock.
Hey, Tarrant County boy. Okie State. You know that we don't say those words on the show. Oak State doesn't take an L. Bet. Okay. Mike Smith, I had a shirt like that as well, Ron Nolan. Tanner, is Cam Rising ever coming back? Never.
Nah, he's retired, dude.
Cam Rising needs to take a medical red shirt. Maybe. Derek Roche, CKA, exactly right. CKS, you mean? My opinion is Ute defense will smother the Beavs, but question is, can Utah move the ball and score? Huge question. Huge question. Derek Roche, DJ Weagalele. Why would you talk? Wait, man, what you?
Who the fuck is that guy?
Just say it fast. Try my middle name. No, I won't. Weagalele.
Okay.
He's a ukulele? Is that what you said? Cleveland Rocks, Myles Garrett and Z Smith will give Lamar fits. Myles Garrett is having one of the best years a defensive player has ever had.
Yeah.
And not many people know about it. Boy, this is rough. If it is in fact true that Cam Rising's out. That's a real problem. If Cam is out, that is ooh.
Yeah, I just don't understand what the holdup is. I mean, this was somebody who they claimed was going to be back by opening day, and now is
not.
Well, I mean, we're in week 4 here. Like,
yeah, I'm surprised by this, and we'll see. Well, boy, that sucks for Utah. I mean, injuries are a big part of football, man. It is. Yeah. KF says I have a shirt that says Neil Brown needs fired. See, we told you. Kevin the Destroyer, BYU tonight. BYU is tonight. And I think that's a very interesting game. Of course, we sent who?
Matt Hart.
Matt Hart. Thank you, Matt Hart. Matt Hart is going to that game tonight.
Yes.
That's another one that I think is very interesting. And I think BYU remains favored in that game. They do. That game is 8:15 on ESPN. Are you a BYU believer, Jake? Do you think the truth has set in at BYU?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that they can compete with the best teams in the Big 12, but I think the trouble is that they weren't able to truly be in danger of winning the game, as I always like to say. Like, yeah, you didn't get blown out, I would say. Like, you didn't get embarrassed or anything against Kansas, but I think that there was definitely a cut of quality that you weren't quite able to meet in that game. And we can all sit here and say that, yeah, like it was just one game, and, you know, don't forget the Arkansas win. But the reality of the situation is that Arkansas game was an absolute battle. I mean, you were just at war in that game. Like, there wasn't any type of control. You were just out there trying to make plays to stay in that one, and you made more plays than they did. And then you came out against Kansas and got lit up early, and it seemed like you never really kind of bounced back from that. So
yeah, that scoop and score ended that game.
Yeah, and so I you know, have we seen the truth with BYU in the Big 12? Yeah, I mean, on some level, but I don't think that this team has even come close to reaching their full potential. I think that Keaton Slovis, you know, yes, people say, hey, he's a game manager. Okay, yeah, I agree with that. But at the same time, as a game manager, you're somebody who is really smart and knows what the play is, how it's going to affect the defense.
I mean, we watched that BYU game, that BYU Kansas game. Did you feel like he was a game manager? I didn't think he was a game manager there.
I think I've always thought that game manager descriptions are harsh. I think Keaton's not running a 4.5 40 as a quarterback and running all over the field, and you know, he doesn't have the athletic ability that Caleb Williams has or Shador or any of these top-end guys. But that doesn't mean that Keaton Slovis can't go out and move the ball down the field and do what you need him to do. And I think that's what people underestimate. And I think in college football, we love a guy that can go out and just wreck the game. Just go out and bomb it down the field and do all these great things. And that's why I say with Keaton, it's like, yeah, he's good enough for them to win games, and that's what matters.
Well, and I think a huge question in this game is going to be BYU's ability to protect Keaton Slovis, because I think this Cincinnati front's probably undervalued. I think Scott Satterfield has done a very nice job with this club. it'd be nice if you're a Bearcat fan if Cincinnati could score in the red zone because they are not finishing drives. And I think it's one of the things you really have to watch tonight because I do think Cincinnati is going to end up in the red zone. And I think one of the things that's really interesting is BYU's defense is historically dominant when they get 2 takeaways in a game. And they have been a turnover machine on that BYU defense. I think that's going to be a key one tonight. You're mile high. You're going to really struggle, Cincinnati, I think, with the elevation. I think the crowd's going to be lit. There's going to be cougar tail all over the field. Like, I think that's a donut. Relax.
Yeah, relax, dude.
I think that if BYU ever gets to a 10-point lead, Cincinnati's in real trouble.
Yeah, and I think, I completely agree with that. I think the altitude absolutely will play a role. But for Cincinnati, Corey Kiner, their running back, is absolutely a guy that you need to watch. I mean, again, last week, running for 153 yards and a touchdown on 20 carries. I mean, dude, BYU in the second half last week on the ground allowed Kansas to run for 221 yards. I mean, you have to be able to stop the run consistently, whether you're Utah or BYU. And if you're going to allow this guy to run all over you in the second half, you're going to lose this game. And there is no reason, in my opinion, that you should ever lose at Lavelle. Ever. Like, under any circumstances. It should never happen. And to me, the run defense not being there is surprising considering the linebacking core you have. And I know the run defense starts with the defensive line. I totally agree with that, and they need to play a little better. But when you've got backers the way BYU's got backers, I would expect you to be a bit better than that. So look for them to hold him under, certainly under 100. I'd love to see him be like 80, 90.
Yeah, this feels like, and the number on this game is actually pretty big. 49 is a big number. And I look at BYU at 49 points. I think Cincinnati's not scoring 24 points. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a real question with their struggles in the red zone and their inability to score touchdowns at the end of drives.
Well, and listen to this that attributes to that. Cincinnati leads the Big 12 in time of possession per game with 33 minutes. That's a lot of time of possession for a team that does not, as you just said, punch it in regularly. And so it's like, hey, Cincinnati's going to have the ball a lot tonight, but they're tomorrow night, right? No, it's tonight. Yeah, it's tonight. Tonight, but they're not good at finishing. Whereas BYU's 15 of 15 inside the red zone this season. So it's very simple for BYU.
Yeah,
dude, you get in the red zone, you're probably scoring. That's just the reality for BYU. Cincinnati, it's a different story.
And the guy I talk about a lot on this show because I think he is the reason you win or lose is LJ Martin at BYU.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, LJ last week had a terrible performance, statistically speaking, and they lost. You're going into a bye. It's your first Big 12 game at home. BYU 24, Cincinnati 20. I think it is a win, and I think it is an under 49. BYU 24, Cincinnati 20.
Yeah, I think that, man, that's tough. I like BYU in this one. I think BYU puts up 31 in this game. I think that Cincinnati is not the team that BYU is, especially at Lavelle. So I would say 31-17 for BYU. I think BYU has a good night. And I think, to your point, they turn Cincinnati over twice.
You think 31-17?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Man, and if they do get the turnovers, I think you could be right.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. More confidence. What is your Utah pick?
My Utah pick is, what did I say? Utes to win for sure. I think I said 27-21, I think.
More confidence. Utah or BYU to win?
BYU for sure.
By a lot.
Yeah. BYU's at home. BYU's got their starting quarterback. BYU's got their starting defense.
Biologics.
Yeah. I think the confidence should be in BYU, and there will be. Dude, I'm just going to say this. Dude, we come in Monday and you lost this game. That's not going to be a good look, dude.
Ooh, don't say it. Do not say it. Houston, Texas Tech. This is a big in for Houston and Texas Tech. A couple other games in the Big 12 I want to mention real quick. This is in Lubbock.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a massive moment in time for Wreckham. And I think this is a big deal. And without Tyler Shuck, I'm curious how much Texas Tech runs the ball. I think that's one that you should really watch. I am a believer, and again, this is just strictly my opinion. I'm a believer that Tyler Shuck is done at Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
You're an 8.5-point home favorite, Fox Sports 2. I said FS2 against Houston, 130. It's a must-win for Joey McGuire. It is, right? I mean, am I the only one? I feel like
inexcusable to lose to Houston.
I feel like this is the biggest moment of his early career.
Yeah, you can't, okay, built-in excuse for the Wild game. Okay, I understand a couple of these other games. All right, fine. Houston, no excuse. This is a new team in the Big 12. They are clearly not as good as you,
Correct.
even without Tyler Shuck. They are clearly not as good as you. Dana Holgerson be damned. And I can't believe that Texas Tech comes out here and loses this game. Because if you do lose this game, now I got to start asking questions about Joey. And I don't care how early
I don't want to ask
dude.
questions about Joey.
I don't want to ask questions about Joey. I respect the hell out of Joey. I believe he's the guy for the job. But there are some games as a college football coach that you have to win. And this is one of those games.
This is one of them. And I think the other one is Dave Aranda in Orlando at UCF. I think you look at Dave Aranda, and I know that he's gotten a big vote of confidence from Baylor. And
yeah, okay.
If you cannot, this number is 56 points, UCF, with a backup quarterback. UCF is a 10.5-point favorite.
You know.
The number is 56, my friends. So are you telling me that you are – what does Baylor score 30 points in this game? Not a chance in the world.
I think they're going to have to win the game.
Not a chance in the world. It would be a stunning upset. If Dave Aranda starts 1-4, I don't even know what you say on Monday morning. Saturday night. And then there's also a very interesting game down there, and Big D, Fort Worth. Speaking of Neil Brown needs fired, West Virginia, Mountain Mamas coming to Fort Worth to take on Sonny Dykes and TCU.
Yeah.
TCU's 13.5. 13.5. Has it been smoke and mirrors for Neil Brown in West Virginia?
Dude, man. I mean, you tend to believe that, right? I mean, you look at the schedule. You get smoked by Penn State, as you would expect. That's not surprising. You win, 3 in a row here. Texas Tech probably made you look better than you are. So, in my opinion, you should be 2-2.
Nico Marchiol, I think, he's got to be a better quarterback. You cannot throw for 99 yards in a game and 21 of that from Traylon Ray and think that you're going to have a chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care if he's a dual threat. Great, run your ass off, kid. But if you can't throw it to a win, you're not going to go to TCU and win this game. I have all, and again, you guys know I hold him in high regard. I think Sonny Dykes is a stud. I think Sonny Dykes is going to send him back to West Virginia with a loss.
Yeah, and I think TCU running back Amani Bailey, he's already got 300-yard rushing games, dude. Like, if you're TCU, ground and pound this team. Ground and pound this team. Run the play action. Let's get it going. I mean, that's what I'd be looking for, because I think, and I know that Chandler Morris, a lot of TCU folks are like, hey, Chandler Morris hasn't lived up to what Duggan did, or maybe he's not as creative or athletic or whatever. There's been complaints. But at the end of the day, this guy's getting the job done, right? You're 3-1. You're 1-0 in conference. Like, you're in a good spot here. Again, I'm going to say, just like I did with BYU, it is inexcusable to lose at home if you're TCU.
But West Virginia's been very good against the pass over the last month.
Yeah, and that's why I think TCU needs to run the damn ball.
You're holding guys to I think the number is they've been 23 of 63 over their last 3 games. We'll see. Here's the problem. Yeah, West Virginia is amazing on third downs on defense. Their offense is non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
Chandler Morris, that's my dude. I told you this to start the year, and I'm not going to change my mind. I think TCU is going to roll in that game, and then the trap game of the week. Kansas. Hook 'em, boy!
Boy.
DKR is going to be rolling.
This ain't a trap game. This is another ass-kicking, dude.
I'm not ready to say that. And
How?
I know.
How?
Listen,
dude?
Bro, I know that Texas is at home. DKR,
dude,
boy!
Put some respect.
Hook 'em, boy!
How am I?
Hey, boy!
You're the Texas dude on the show.
Hey, boy!
Right? Like, how am I the one that's got to sit here and evangelize?
Can I just keep yelling,
Buddy?
boy?
Yeah, please.
Hey, boy!
How do I have to be the guy that has to evangelize for viewers? Like, come on, Texas is your team. You're the ultimate Texas fan. Yet you're telling me they're going to struggle with Kansas at DKR?
Come
on now.
I think Kansas showed us that they can ball out last week. And I want to see Texas win a game at DKR by 40, but they haven't been that team. And now, here's where we...
Don't.
And in the comments section, boy, get in the comments section and let's get some predictions here. Because we have a new member of the program to shout out.
Okay.
Why do you have to... Brian Skorgel. Schmiegel.
Hey,
Let's go, Schmiegel.
Brian Schmiegel. Okay. All right.
Welcome to the membership. Appreciate you very much. Thank you. You guys hit the join button, my friends. $1.99 gets all your comments highlighted in red. $9.99 gets you into our members-only Instagram group and allows you to chat it up with the boys. We have a great community. And I appreciate you, Brian Skorgel. I hope I'm getting that
Schmiegel.
right. There's just no chance I'm getting that right. But all right, Gary Wolf says Kansas 99, Texas nothing.
Whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you're probably too high on the score there. Barfing Chickens. Texas struggled with Wyoming at DKR and upset at home. Kansas 31, Texas 28. What did I tell you? What did I tell you though?
Please,
what did I tell you?
Get the hell out of here, dude.
This feels like it.
No.
Yes, it does.
No.
And listen, I understand. Kansas is a great bet, plus 550 on this game. Like, totally understand it. That's money well spent, even if you don't win it. This feels very, very dangerous to me. It feels very, very, very dangerous to me.
Don't tell me that they struggled with YO at home. Dude, they didn't.
Dude, that was a fourth quarter game.
No, it wasn't a fourth quarter game.
Yes, it was.
You know what it was? It was Texas decided to start playing in the fourth
see,
quarter
what happened is
and
Texas,
hung 21 on YO in the fourth.
Texas
Don't
was
tell
in the
me,
locker room for
dude.
3 quarters brushing their hands.
Yeah, dude, they were getting stroked, dude. Come on.
Time to get stroked, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Honestly, I'd start stroking guys.
Yeah, maybe you should, Brooks. Nice performance in the Ryder Cup. But my point is, listen, bro. Texas, I think, is going to come into this game with a healthy respect for Kansas. I think the fact that Texas knows what lies ahead, because I think we're all aware that Texas is that team that has massive, massive over-the-mountain expectations of themselves. But, friends, what's a week from now? Anybody know what a week from now is? Yeah, it's
I don't
called
know what a week from now
the
is.
Red River Shootout against Oklahoma. The game of the year. The game of the year. Because you're at Houston, BYU, K-State, at TCU, at Iowa State, Texas Tech. This is your Super Bowl.
And
a week
that's
from
why
now.
I say, stop running out the, hey, this is a trap game stuff.
It's a trap game. It's a trap game.
If Sark is him this year, and I have no reason to believe he's not after what you did to Alabama, after what you did against Baylor, and I know Baylor sucks, but you still went to their place and hung 38 on them. Dude, if Sark is any kind of coach, these boys will understand, hey, we're at home. We need to take control of this game early. We need to prove a point, set the tone, come out, and get it going. And the way you do that is by running the football. And they have got talent at that position for days. And I just don't understand why we're like, hey, are they actually going to perform against Kansas at home when they've done what they've done so far? At what point do we respect Texas and say, hey, dude, they've shown they can beat teams that are far better than Kansas?
Nobody has polished more Longhorns on this show than I am.
That's why I'm shocked, dude. I thought you'd be like, yeah, dude, we're rolling Kansas.
But Oklahoma's next week. And you have not built confidence in me with the YO game. The Bama game was impressive. And I'll even give you Baylor was an ass kicking.
Okay, what is your take on the YO game? Why is that a concerning game?
They didn't respect their opponent.
Right.
And I'm worried they're going to do the same thing with Kansas. Now it's Jalen Daniels, who I think is one of the best quarterbacks in the country that ain't nobody's mama talking about but his own.
Yeah, it's also a P5 program.
And I think, but YO is as difficult an opponent as you're going to get on a non-con schedule.
I agree.
And Sark knew that, but the players didn't heed, and that worries me. And again, Jalen Daniels is not to be toyed with. That cat is going to go to DKR to prove a point. Now, are we believing that Texas's defense is everything that I told you it was? I do.
Yeah,
I know Pete Kwiatkowski. I know his work. I know what he's capable of. I know the talent on that defense. It is, in my opinion, the best defense in the country. If they show up, Texas wins by 28.
Yeah.
I kid you not.
What is the line on this again? What are they favored by? It's like 16, I think, right? Isn't it?
Yes, it is, and this is why I have concerns about Texas. This is why. Because you didn't show up against YO. Why would I believe you'd show up against Kansas with Oklahoma waiting in the wings?
Because I think this team understands the expectation, and I think Wyoming is a G5 team that has no business being on the same field as Texas, and everybody knows it. And I agree. I'm not saying you're way off base with that, but what I look at, again, for everyone saying, oh, it was fourth quarter game, you're damn right it was. And when they needed to, they showed up. And they put 21 up and didn't allow any points, and it wasn't even in question. So to me, if you're Texas and you did that against YO, are you not saying, okay, enough of this nonsense, we're going to go beat the piss out of Baylor? You did that. Hey, Kansas is coming to our house with a point to prove. They know this is the biggest game on their schedule. Hey, if we beat Kansas, we get to Oklahoma, we got a chance to go undefeated.
Absolutely.
So I'm not going to sell them short. I'm going to say, hey, you've shown me what you can do when you turn up, and that is dominate teams. So I expect nothing short of a 28-point spread here. Like, I think you should dominate them.
The number on this game is 61.
Mm-hmm.
It's under 61. And I'm telling you, if this goes over, Kansas wins. Because if this Texas defense, which is favored by 16, if this Texas defense is given up in the 40s, it's over. I'm telling you, it's over. If they give up, I'll even go this far. If they give up 28, Kansas is going to be in this game late. This needs to be foot on your balls, game's over, before you guys don't turn the bus off. Keep the air conditioning flowing on the bus.
30 points in the first half,
You're getting your ass back on the bus.
Yep, 30 points in the first half.
These are the games that define the elite coaches in the country, because Oklahoma's next week. And it'd be real easy to look over rock chalk to go and look for Boomer. And if that happens, I can see Kansas winning this game. Now, I'm going to stay on brand. That ain't happening. Steve Sarkisian is going to have these boys ready to roll, and they are going to dominate Kansas.
Yeah.
This is going to be a 40-20 game. Take Kansas to cover, take Texas to cover, and it goes under the 61. It's the only way that I can predict this game. I'm terrified
of that. You're right on the edge, though. If Texas scores 40, you're right on the edge of the over-under here.
Yeah, because if it goes over, it's going to be the other way. If it goes over, this will be like a 38-35. This will be a 42-38. This will be, and it worries me a little bit, man. I look at the points. You're giving up 24 points to Jalen Milroe. That terrifies me. Jalen Milroe is not a big-time college quarterback, and they still scored 24 on you.
Yeah.
That's concerning. Now, 6 to Baylor, 10 to Ohio, 10 to Rice. You've been the real deal. The first team you played worth the damn scored 24 points on you.
But,
and with all due respect to my friends in Waco, because I know we have a huge Baylor fan base, you're not the same old offensive Baylor that we thought we were going to see.
But if I said to you, hey, your defense allowed 24 on the road, that's pretty good.
I'd be all right with that.
You'd be all right with that. Now, I don't disagree about your point of Jalen Milroe, 100%. But if I said, hey, you only gave up 24 against Alabama, or you only gave up 24 on the road, you'd be okay with that. And that's why I say the 61, I know Steam of the Day, it's a perfect number because I'm buying on, hey, 40-plus for Texas in this game, and I think it's probably high 20s for Kansas, and I think they get there in garbage time. Honestly, I do.
Okay, I'm going to go 42-17.
Man.
Texas. Because that's the score it needs to be for them to... If it's under, it'll be something like that.
Uh-huh.
I could see 38-21, but something tells me Texas will put up 42. I'm a big believer in the Texas defense. It's super talented. Jahdae Barron and the boys. I love it. Best linebackers in the country. I love it. 42-17 Texas.
45-21 Texas.
So you're over.
Yeah.
Okay. 45-21. You're over.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
66.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
What
Boss Frog.
Was they were 16.5. Yeah, so they cover that too.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Colorado USC over 73. We're getting to that game in a minute. Kansas UT under 63. He said under.
Yeah, well.
Oregon minus 27, BYU minus 1, South FLA plus 3.5. Really? LSU minus 2.5. Pick one of the games. I'll split the winnings with the Monty Show. I've already had action on the games. By the way, hi, Jake.
Hey, guys.
Boss Frog's here, Jake.
What's up, buddy? Love you, dude.
That South Florida game. Ooh. That South Florida game. And I almost put this on the schedule today. It's at Navy. And what is the line on that game? That game. I hate this game.
Why, dude?
I hate this game.
It's going to be raining because, all of the Northeast is, flooded. A. B.
Minus 3 to Navy, 54.5. Man, South Florida covers the 3.5.
Certainly.
All right, let's go with that one. It's at Memorial. And Annapolis, you're right, 73 in rainstorms. I think it's under the 54.5. All right, let's ride with South Florida.
24-17 USF.
Let's ride with South Florida.
And you know the thing about a game against Navy? You're going to have much less possessions. What does Navy do? Run the football. You are going to have less possessions in this game. Nobody's getting a 30 in this game unless there's turnovers. Which, again, it's going to be raining, they say, so that could be. But I'm saying 24-17 USF.
Okay. See, that's why I almost put this game on, but we didn't do it. Yeah. And I'm a huge proponent of the USF Bulls.
I think it's a risky game. It's a very risky game to be getting action on, man.
USC at Colorado, 10 a.m. on Fox. USC's 21.5.
And go ahead and try me then.
The over 73. Now remember, Boss is saying it's over 73.
So you're saying
over 73.
USC is going to score 60, which is totally reasonable.
Shiloh Gonna miss him.
What did Oregon put up against them?
900.
Yeah. What was
USC minus 21.5 over 73. Colorado at home, 10 a.m. on Fox. Another morning game.
Oregon put up 42, and most of that was in the first half.
Okay.
A lot of heat in that game. Oregon was trying to make it personal. Oregon didn't score in the fourth quarter. So, to me, SC is worse for Colorado because SC just doesn't care. SC does not give a damn about Colorado.
No, they don't.
And if I'm SC, 50 is my number in this game. I'm trying to put up 50 in this game. And once that happens, Buddy's getting taken out.
Yeah, I think I look at the line 21.5. Holy shyster.
Yeah, dude.
You need Shedeur Sanders. If you think SC is going to cover that, you need Shedeur Sanders to throw interceptions, which he doesn't. And SC has been better against the pass than we thought. But I think if you look at this game, I think I have to take USC to cover. I think that defense at Colorado is banged up and not good when they're healthy.
SC is going to cover the 21.5, no doubt about it. Yeah, I think that's not the hard part. I think the hard part here is the over-under at 73.
TCU, I think if you go back to the TCU game, they averaged 7 yards a carry on Colorado. Nebraska sucks.
Quick little note on Caleb Williams' stats here. On the season, 75 of 101 in the passing game for 1,200 yards. 15 touchdowns, no interceptions. So what does that say? Hey, this guy is super efficient in the air, which allows them to run with regularity.
The only thing that worries me about that coming through, Shedeur having a big game, it's going to be 9 o'clock Pacific time for SC to kick off. 9 in the morning. I'd remind you their schedule has been what? All night games.
Mm-hmm.
Not an afternoon game to speak of in the first month. And now you're asking them to kick off at 9 o'clock in Boulder, which, again, elevation.
And look what they've done to these teams. Just to refresh. Week 0, 56 points. Week 1, 66. Week 2, 56. Week 3, 42. Against ASU, they played a 42-28 game. Caleb Williams was 20 of 31 for 322. 64.5% completion. 3 touchdowns.
God damn it. Maybe he doesn't care what the clock
where
says
do we
or where
think?
it's
Do we
played.
think Colorado's better than Arizona State?
Well, I think so.
Right?
Yeah.
So, if Colorado's better than Arizona State, maybe Colorado has, again, the number's 21.5 for USC. Maybe Colorado has 20 points in this game. Right? The problem is you're going to give up 50. So like I said, we're not talking about whether USC is going to cover or not. They're going to cover. It's a question of, is this 76 points or 70 points?
Yeah, I'm more worried about the altitude at 9 a.m. And this is why I'm concerned about the over.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's 73, and it's terrifying to me. I think asking kids to play football at 9 a.m. is a real risk at altitude. You know that Dion practices them in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys are aware of that. They have 7 a.m. Calls in the morning to lift weights at altitude. I think this game's going to be closer than people think. I think most people are probably going to pick SC to win, as am I. I think it's going to be a real shootout. And it's why I want to say over. I want to say over. I think Caleb Williams is remarkable. This feels like a 40-30 game. This is not Oregon.
Well, that was the Arizona State game for SC, 40-28.
This is not Oregon. This is a very different Colorado team. Lloyd's going to have to run for 100, which I am not at all certain that he will do. Man, I'm struggling. I had this all figured out. I had it all figured out, 50-17 USC. But now I want to say it goes over. I think you need Lloyd to go over. I think Caleb's probably going to throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns in this game. I think they score 50 points. I think it's 50-30, so I have to go over. I think 50-30. What do you think?
I'm going 55-21. It goes over. 76 points. Yep.
So Jake's going 55-21.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 50-30. And it goes over.
Yeah.
That's the best I can do here,
and
man.
in either situation, SC covers.
Yeah, I agree. Car Wash Channel says I'm going Utah 50, Oregon State nothing. Bob Holsey for $5. Thanks, Bob. Hope you're well. BYU losing 0-50 to Cincinnati and Utah going to win. Utah, go Utes, their game. Okay, well, Car Wash Channel, I think you might struggle with that pick. Don't bet the mortgage on that.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Choi, Men of Troy, going to do Patton in the Third Army March towards the Rhine. Wow. Bob Smith says Oregon State 16-13 over Utah. The eye patch, hey, Deion, Caleb Williams has FK Buffs painted on his fingernails. Beat him.
Okay, first of all, dude, if you're going to comment on a dude's name, spell Buddy's name correctly.
It's Caleb with a C.
Thank you.
Bob Holsey, Taylor Swift is not going to the Jets game. The Jets suck. Why should I turn out for that when I can sell out a concert across the street? The false rumor is about DeAndre Swift. I have no idea what you're talking about. Chuck B, 63-20 SC.
Could very well happen.
And I hate SC.
Could very well happen, dude.
Oh, Chuck, why do you put that in my consciousness? 63-20.
That's where I think the 9 a.m. thing comes in.
Jesus.
I don't think you're going to get the top end of SC's offense in this game. I don't think, because again, think of it this way. So you're playing a 9 a.m. Pacific game, and you're going to go in there. You're going to take control early. You know, you're going to be up 14 points after the first quarter. Certainly, I would think, and then you're probably up 30 at the half. Or maybe you're up 25 at the half or whatever. A couple of possessions. So when we talk about getting to 60, think about what they'd have to do in the second half. You'd probably have to put up, you certainly would have to be a touchdown on every drive you get. And I don't think you're doing that at 9 in the morning.
No, I would agree with that. But I think Chuck, I just think 63 is too much.
If we want to say, hey, Colorado's going to fumble it and turn it over or pick six.
If Shador's going to turn it over, it's going to be tough. Christopher Shannon says 45-34. AAR says expect the big game USC Trojans. Everybody's going to be watching. Elaine Tran, what's up, Elaine Tran? Caleb versus Shador, which is amazing. Tyler Nelson, could this be the game that USC's offense can't bail out the defense? It might well be. That's a really good point, Tyler. I mean, it's why I'm a little concerned. Now, the problem is Colorado's defense is not, you guys,
atrocious.
And I'm trying to be polite. It's not good. They're not talented when they're healthy, and they are not healthy. Shiloh's hurt. Like they're missing a linebacker, if memory serves. Like they're not going to.
Yeah.
They're not going to be good. Car Wash Channel, USA 30-20, Colorado. USC 30-20. Okay. Chuck B, 21-13 at the half, then gets CW rolling. Well,
could be.
I think that's a good. I mean, it's 9 o'clock in the morning Pacific. That's a great point. Mike Smith, USC will put the game away early so they can eat lunch.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. Welcome to the nightmare, says UCF 34, Baylor 17. I like Dave Aranda as a human, but you got to make that change.
I bet.
You got to make that change. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's just one of those things where. And he's been good. He's won games, but did he win games with his talent or somebody else's talent?
Yep.
I mean, that I think is a big deal. Like,
he's not somebody where you're like, wow, he's a dynamic recruiter.
Well, he hasn't been, and he hasn't coached guys up. So,
yeah.
That's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. But we'll see. I don't know. Elaine Tran, Zach Wilson. Wow. What about Zach Wilson? Tyler Nelson. I'm not sure if people want to see Zach Wilson play in primetime, but since Aaron Rodgers got injured.
You're not watching it for Zach Wilson.
No, you're not. Conundrum, newsflash, 39,000 subs. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. Love that. Thank you, guys. We've had a meteoric rise.
So, about that West Virginia game.
39,005.
Little update. Marshall's not starting. Garrett Green's starting for West Virginia.
Well, you kind of had an idea that was coming.
Yeah.
Right? Car Wash Channel says 5-0 Utah. It's going to be a banger.
Hope so.
Elaine Trans got 35-21 Utah. Okay. Mike Smith says, don't trust Car Wash Channel. He's a Northwestern player. Are we making, sexual bullying jokes about Northwestern? Caleb Williams to the Bears, Tarrant County. Don't say that. The iPad says 2 hours, go Utes. 2 hours, go Utes. USC 55, Colorado 21. That feels right. Robert says, has Colorado ever won a football game versus USC? I don't believe it's ever happened, ever, in the history of all things. Johnny Gonzalez, if Art Briles is good enough to be on OU's field, no reason why he shouldn't get the Baylor job back, right? Remember, Briles did nothing wrong, according to OU fans. Man, that situation is still ugly. If Aranda is motivational speaker more than a football coach, I feel Aranda is more of a motivational speaker. He's too laid back.
Yeah.
He's too laid back. Buffs 31-27, shock the world main event says, yeah, I don't think so. Connor Tulin, why do you pick the Packers? Why did you pick the Packers? Because I'm an idiot. In my family pool, I picked the Lions. But I will ask for credit. You're going to kick me back some?
Yep, he was correct. And let me just pull it up
Jordan
real
Love.
quick. I want to make sure I get this exactly right and about what we had last night.
Go
ahead and load this up right here. We're going to close that. Okay, last night, Jordan Love, more than 1.5 pass rush receiving TDs. Jordan Love had 2. We won on that. Romeo Doubs, more than 5.5 receiving targets. He had 9. We won on that. Oh, Jake entered the chat. Scotty Scheffler and Sam Burns win more than 4.5 holes. Yeah, that's where I got piped last night. Thanks, guys. Really great performance at the Ryder Cup, Team USA. Really appreciate you guys.
No, it wasn't.
I knew today would be shitty.
Hour number 3 in the Monty Show, presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com. You guys, we talk about the Advocates working in the community all the time. Here we go again. The Advocates are working with the Road Home, one of the best homeless advocacy groups in the country, to provide homeless children with Halloween costumes. And I view this very similar to the school supplies and clothing drive that we did. Kids love Halloween. And I can remember dressing up as a firefighter, a ghost. I can remember dressing up as a Chicago Bears player. I loved Halloween as a kid. But when you don't have a costume, how fun can Halloween be? And at the Road Home, they are working with the Advocates to provide kids costumes. This is the Advocates Venmo account. If you could send them a Venmo, $1, $5, whatever you have, $1 million, whatever you've got, please consider making a donation to the Advocates, because I have so much respect for how much they do in the community. And this is another example to partner with the Road Home to give kids Halloween costumes. Let's get this done, you guys. Let's just right now take a minute to give them $5 to help a kid put on a Halloween costume. I mean, I just think it makes all the difference in the world. Do you remember dressing up as a kid?
Absolutely.
What'd you dress up as?
Power Ranger, baseball player.
Remember
obviously.
Power Rangers? Oh, man.
Yeah, dude.
Think about your favorite. In the comment section, what are your favorite Halloween costumes? When you were a kid, what were your favorite Halloween costumes? That's what we're trying to do, is give kids a chance to enjoy Halloween. So hook it up on Venmo, or go to theadvocates.com if you want to verify it. If you're somebody that doesn't trust things like this, hey, I totally get it. Advocates.com, chat with them. Ask them about their Halloween costume drive with the Road Home, or just hook it up on Venmo and just say Monty Show Halloween and give them $5. I really appreciate everybody who helped out with the school drive in August. Let's do it again in October and send these kids out with Halloween costumes so that they can have the same memories that we had. Jim Choi says, didn't Monty dress up, Jake? Occasionally. I dressed him up as a baseball player. He wanted to be a Power Ranger. I disagreed.
I don't really get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Tarrant County boy, Monty dress up as a sumo. Thanks.
Dude, did you just call my guy fat, dude? Like, what is that about, bro?
He did call me fat, which is fine.
Unbelievers.
Let's see. KF says my son went as a Star Wars character like 5 years in a row. Man, dude, I remember when I was a kid, one of my favorite memories was one of my friends was a huge Top Gun fan. He went as Maverick. He had the full aviators and the sunglasses.
How about that?
The aviator jacket, it was amazing. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, welcome to the nightmare, says. Show us your Jordans. Okay. Show us your Jordans. You got J's on today, Jake?
Yeah, dude, I got grape 3s on, man.
Okay.
Yeah, dog. Yeah, man.
I got some Jordan casuals on. Jake's got the. That's funny. I almost wore those.
Yeah.
I almost wore the grape 3s. 3s are amazing. Gregory Krug, the first costume I ever had that I remember was a homemade Walter Payton uniform that my mother made. See, those are the best. Those are the best. Elaine Tran says, I'll show you my Kobe's. I haven't had the courage to put on my Grinches yet.
Nah, I can't do it, dude.
I agree. Hella Billy, Benjamin Franklin was my favorite. Did you really? Little Slugger, Johnny Gonzalez says. Mike Smith, Monty and Jake going trick-or-treating this year as Jake and the Fat Man. Sorry, Monty. Wow.
Dude, that's offensive, bro.
I got on the scale this morning. I lost 3 more pounds. I'm just saying.
I'm for real.
Lost 3 more pounds. It's fine. Whatever. Micah says USC 35, Colorado 31. Bob Smith, Monty dressed up as a nudist. In 15 minutes, we'll talk about getting nude. It's an amazing story. Let's see. Lopes Van Gabe, Jakey Two Holes choosing Power Rangers over a baseball player explains a lot.
Waves in opposition.
Elaine Tran, Jake won. Yes, he did. Car Wash Channel, I'm not a Northwestern player, and I'm not player. Okay, it's okay.
So you're on the staff. Okay, thanks for clarifying.
Monty rocking the Team Jordans. No, these are the ones he wore on The Last Dance. I can't remember the name of them. I wore them today because we're going to Topgolf, and Mrs. Monty and I match shoes on occasion.
Yeah, those are not Team Jordans, dude. Those are actual Jordans, yeah.
I can't remember what they're called. Giggity, asking to see the Jays is a real convenient to get some leg action.
Yeah, you like some leg?
Hey now. Christopher Shannon, I love the gray-white combo on the shoes. I have like hundreds of Jordans. I have way too many. You guys dressed up like Power Rangers and football players. I dressed up like Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger. I like it a lot. Yes. And donuts. I'm going as Kurt Schultz with my pockets inside out. Wow.
Savage.
Chuck B says, nice ankle golf tan. Dude, 100%.
100%.
100. Like, can you see it like on my neck as well? Can you?
Oh, my God.
Come on, guys.
It's real.
Oh, absolutely. And I rock it. Monty should dress as Cartman for Halloween. I'm not fat. I'm pleasantly plump.
Dude, you guys are assholes, dude.
You guys are a bunch of assholes.
Yeah.
Jake should dress up like Kip from Napoleon Dynamite.
No, I'm good.
KC Boss, how about some SEC predictions? I think one of the games of the week, LSU at Ole Miss. Lane Train. Is Lane Kiffin a fraud?
Yes.
Wow. Really?
Unequivocally, yes.
You think Lane Kiffin's a fraud?
Yeah, because you don't talk all that junk and do what you did at the podium and troll Nick Saban and then go out and get your ass kicked.
LSU -2.5, 67.5 is the number. Lane Kiffin has a lot to prove here. And I think one of the most interesting things about this game is, can LSU run on Ole Miss's defense? Because Ole Miss's run defense has actually been pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lane's done a better job tuning up his defense this year. I think the other interesting thing about this, Jake and I watched pretty much every snap of that Florida State game. Florida State was able to dominate on third down against LSU, 64%. I think that's really interesting. Ole Miss, they're 13-1 in their last 14 games when they get 44% or more on third downs. Third down is going to be a huge storyline in this game, but let's be honest. The Ole Miss defense got hit for over 300 yards against Georgia Tech. Jalen Milroe, who, again, I say the same thing about Texas. Jalen Milroe doesn't strike fear into anybody's heart.
I really don't care if you think it's sus.
81% of their throws, and they got that ass beat 24-10 by Bama.
Yeah.
Where do you come down on this, Jake? Because I think when I look at the way this game shakes out, and I look at how this game shakes out, there's not a chance in the world that LSU is going to allow Ole Miss to stay on the field on third down.
Mm-hmm.
I think Brian Kelly taking that early loss was a big win for LSU. I think LSU is going to roll in this game because I just don't believe Ole Miss is that good.
Yeah, and I think that, the trouble here is that I think this is a game that the first of 30 wins. That's what I think. I know that LSU is only 2.5, but, you look at this over-under at 67.5, and I think that's why. Because
remember that it's at Ole Miss.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I get it. But I don't think that matters much against Ole Miss. I think that Ole Miss is a little bit overrated. I think that LSU is an offensive team, not a defensive team, which means that they're going to have to get the job done, moving it down the field. And I don't know. I'm probably biased. I was really disappointed in Lane Kiffin. I think that, you had an opportunity to legitimize yourself and say, hey, we beat Alabama. You had an opportunity to do what Texas did. And difference is you didn't get it done, and Sark did. And that's what I really struggle with in this game.
The problem is it's like a ghost with LSU. Jaden Daniels is a hell of a quarterback, and it just feels like you never get a possession on them. It feels like LSU consistently converts third downs. Oh, wait, that's right, they do. And in my opinion, I look at this game, and I think it is a statement game by LSU. I like LSU. I think this game is somewhere in the high 30s for LSU.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the high 20s for Ole Miss. Even in Oxford, I think Brian Kelly rolls. I love LSU to cover and this game to go over.
100% agree.
Yeah, I think that's – I think that
38-24, 38-27 would be not a surprise even a little bit.
Yeah, the game that I don't have a real handle on is Georgia at Auburn because I feel like Auburn is not good. And I continue to say, and I feel like I say this all the time and I'm wrong. I just don't feel like what is special about Auburn. And I'll get lulled into, but Georgia, and it's Georgia, they're amazing. And then I look at Georgia and I'm like, but you gave up 21 to Alabama, directional. And 14 and you had a slow start. Like you just, there's nothing where you're like, well, man, holy hell, Georgia's dominating. I don't feel like Georgia's dominated this year.
Yeah.
And I was on the Auburn train and then somehow they went to College Station and got boat raced by Captain Buyout and the Aggies. And I'm like, what the hell?
Captain Buyout. That's awesome.
So maybe we just blew off the Cal game as, well, it was a long road trip, 14-10, you still won the game. No, something tells me that Auburn's just not that good. And I don't, and again, I get it. Peyton Thorne and
Yeah.
We get the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't believe for a second, I do not believe for a second that Auburn is legit. And I think Georgia's tired of hearing the footsteps. I think they're tired of hearing about the fact that you got too many super speeders and you're not winning 3 in a row.
First team all SRT.
Yeah, exactly right. I feel like this is one of those games where this should just be over long before it starts.
40-10. Dominant. That's
and
what you would expect.
And what does Hugh Freeze do when that happens? Because at some point, I think there has to be a way for LSU to get back. They're going to the college football playoff.
Yes.
I have to think they end up, and again, I know it's crazy, but I think on some level, LSU has to be the favorites to win the West, and to do that, you got to beat Auburn. And to do that, you got to beat Alabama, and you got to beat Texas A&M. And I look at LSU, and you didn't beat Florida State, and you barely beat Arkansas. And so I'm a little nervous about this game. And I look at Ole Miss. I'm a little nervous about the LSU Ole Miss game. But I don't have a real grasp on Georgia and Auburn.
Yeah, I think that Georgia and Auburn's an ass-kicking. I think Georgia is going to roll them. That's what I think. Absolutely. Yeah, I think your point about the Cal game, I think your point about this team just being, yeah, sure, they've got 3 wins, and that's great, and they're doing their job, but talk to me after this game, because this is...
Has Georgia played anybody?
It doesn't matter. See, the thing is, I don't disagree. They never play anybody early in the year, but where are they at the end of the year? Every year.
Yeah.
The college football playoff. They're the number 1 team in the country for a reason.
But is Carson Beck that impressive?
No, but he's impressive enough to kick the living hell out of Auburn. I can tell you that right now.
Is Brock Bowers a guy that you're like, well, I don't know. But what I do know is their defense should be better. And you're not, you know, the other issue I have here is it's not like you're, I don't know. I just feel like something's off. Yes, I'm going to go with it because I'm stupid. I'm going to roll with Georgia, and they're you know, I'm going to roll with Georgia. I'm going to roll with LSU. And I warn you now, one of these games in the SEC is going to come back to bite us in the ass this weekend.
It'll be the LSU game. Yeah, I'm telling you, don't overthink the Georgia thing. Georgia is going to roll them.
What about A&M and Arkansas and Arlington? Tarrant County, boy.
Tarrant County, boy.
I think that's one to watch. And the other one I think is really interesting is Alabama, Mississippi State.
That's going to be a good one.
That is going to be a good one because I'm very interested to see how Alabama travels. This is in Starkville. Where are you at on it?
I mean, obviously Alabama should win this game. There's no doubt about that. But this is, again, another one where I want to see what Jalen Milroe does. Because ultimately, you're on the road here. And when you're on the road, especially in an SEC game, you know that Davis Wade's going to be a problem for you. You know it's going to be loud. You know they're coming for you. So I'm curious what the game plan is. What is the scheme that you're going to run to have early game success? Because Jalen Milroe is the guy that'll put you 3 and out on your first possession. He'll look bad early in the game, which builds momentum for Mississippi State, and you can't have that happen.
Mississippi State.
But there is a reason you're favored by 14.5 points for a good reason.
Yep. Join us on Prize Picks, you guys. Download the app. Use the promo code Monty to get 100% deposit matching. Oh, by the way, if you're in the Instagram members-only group here for the Monty Show, hit join. Join on the members-only content. It gets you into the group. You see Prize Picks every day. Everybody's talking about Prize Picks. Click the link in the description below. It's going to download the app for you. It's going to have the Monty promo code already embedded in the section. You get 100% deposit matching up to $100, and trust me, that'll play you a month at Prize Picks. It is so much fun to play daily fantasy. Baseball's been amazing. The Cubs are terrible, and they're not going to make the postseason. So I don't have to worry about baseball anymore after this weekend, which will be great. The Yankees are probably going to fire Booney, and the Cubs won't hire him because they're going to keep David Ross until I'm dead. But really, the point is Prize Picks is a lot of fun. Daily fantasy is amazing. Hook it up. Use the promo code Monty to get 100% deposit matching. All right, couple of NFL games. Then we got to get to new game shows because one is coming to the U.S. The Taylor Swift extravaganza. Chiefs, Jets, 8:20 Sunday Night Football on NBC. The Jets are going to lose this game, right?
Clearly.
Any chance that Brittany Mahomes and Taylor Swift, who are now close personal friends,
schemers trying to control their little worlds.
And yes, a man can dream, but my point is, any chance they jinx the Chiefs?
No, I think the Chiefs are going to win this game by 20 points at least. I think that this defense, while it might be good, is not that good. And I think that
I like it.
The problem is that Zach Wilson's under fire right now.
Zachy
Poo's under fire, and I'm not interested in having the Joe Namath debate, like different show, different day. The reality of the situation is Jets fan care what he has to say. And I think that when a guy like that comes out and criticizes you and then in the media availability during the week you own it, I think that's a great look for you. But the reality of the situation is that's not going to get fixed in 1 week.
Correct.
And I think that I look at this and I say, hey, the over-under is 41.5 and the Chiefs are -9. The Chiefs are going to have probably 35 in this game, I would expect. You know,
Okay.
I think they have a nice performance. The problem is that I don't know what Zach's going to do different this week. Because, again, I see a guy who's just struggling to understand what the defense is trying to do to him, and he looks panicked. And I know. I'm here for it.
He does look panicked.
Dude, the offensive line is inconsistent at best. Sometimes he's got time. Other times he does not. He doesn't have the luxuries Justin Fields has regularly, right? Like, he doesn't. So my question is, hey, what is Robert Saleh and staff going to do to put Zach Wilson in a better spot? That's the question, because you can't just – I don't believe that Robert Saleh is making it the whole season if they continue to just get blown out. Blown out. Like, you can't have that. That's not going to be good enough in New York.
Okay. I will tend to agree with that. Okay, I'll agree with that. I don't think Saleh is getting fired under any circumstance. I think they are going to get blown out. I think the Chiefs offensively are too good. I think the Jets are so bad offensively.
Yeah.
Good luck. Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills. Bills are 2.5-point favorites.
I'm here for this.
The number's 53.5 at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on CBS with Tony Romo.
Hey, Tone.
Bills are going to put the Dolphins' dreams to rest on Sunday. I'm a big believer the Bills are winning this game. I think the Bills – I love that the Bills are playing with a bit of a chip on their shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for that chip on their shoulder. And I think Josh Allen has so much to prove.
Clearly, I agree with that.
I think Stefan Diggs has so much to prove. I think this Bills defense, I think Buffalo is that team that has talked a lot of stank and has not come out and played well.
Right.
And they have an opportunity. And the only thing that worries me is Poyer is not playing in the back end of this defense. He is out this week. That's a little scary against the Cheetah. But I think I'm going to take Buffalo, the Bills, in a razor-thin victory over the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm going the other way on this one. I think the Dolphins offensively are playing too well. I think great offense beats your best defense every time because they know where they're going and you don't. And I think that Tua is on a run here, and if it was ever going to be his season, this is now. And this is really the first big one. You know, this is one where I'm like, hey, Tua, you've stayed healthy. You've done a great job to this point. Now you got to show me you're that guy in a big game. And I think he has his coming out party. I think they're, 31-27, 31-24 here.
Okay.
And I think they win this one.
All right, let's get your thoughts on the NFL. Teddy Wayman, the Tile King of Jetta. Micah Mars says field goals will win or lose Utah and Oregon State game. Better make them. KC Boss, one of our newest members, by the way. Hello, KC Boss. Good to see you. KC Boss says go Chiefs. Elaine Tran says no talent, Zach Wilson, the QB. Wow. Bob Smith.
Stay hard.
The networks have a hard-on for early season New York NFL games.
Yeah.
Okay. KC Boss, Chiefs have a real defense for 12C. Oh, see what it 12C.
So see what you did there. It's Travis Kelce's last name, but it's Taylor Swift's first name, 12C.
Okay. I like it. I do. Mike Smith, Chiefs win. Swift opens mouth, causes Wilson to throw 2 interceptions. Wow. Jim Choi, they going to show Swift in the box more than the game. No reason to waste time with that BS.
Macaque.
What about Manchester United? David De Gea should still be there. See what it rhymes. Showing Swift box. Exactly right. J.K. Marshall, 10-4 on the Swift box. We're such men. We are such men. The only right-wing Duck fan. Aaron is rehabbing with the shaman right now. He's back next week. He's at a darkness retreat shitting himself on ayahuasca.
Do you know what that's like these days?
Amazing healing powers with the Achilles. Chuck B, is it just me or does CF Conference have a QB named Jaden Daniels? They do. Yeah, I would agree. Elaine Tran, Aaron Rodgers would have won more games if it wasn't for the injuries. Well, yeah. And I'd have a six-pack ab if it wasn't for the Twinkies. Fat ass. Lance Johnson, Zach will meet Mr. Jones several times and not pleasantly. By the way, speaking of Mr. Jones, did you hear the Chandler Jones update? Chandler Jones arrested in Las Vegas. As this goes, you know that Chandler Jones yesterday released a live stream where he broke down crying and sobbing over Aaron Hernandez. Mm-hmm. Well, he today decided the right thing to do would be to go out and violate a restraining order related to domestic violence. He was arrested, booked into jail, and bailed out on $15,000. The Raiders have no comment, other than to say we're aware and we have no comment. The Chandler Jones story keeps getting worse.
Yeah.
And who's going to step in and do something about it?
No idea.
Joseph Harper for $2. What? No thoughts on Notre Dame Duke? I don't want to talk about him, man.
What's there to talk about, though? Like, I don't understand why McAfee's at Notre Dame Duke, dude.
That was weird.
There are so many other places to be. Like,
are they playing it in Tarrant County?
Tarrant County, boy.
I don't know why he was there.
Like, I understand the Colorado-Oregon thing. Totally get it. But why are we not, why are we not in Texas? Why are we not in the SEC? Why are we, what are we doing?
Yeah, my wife is currently on her Ring doorbell putting out dead flowers for Halloween in front of our house.
You ought to know you bought it.
Like on the Ring doorbell. There she is, and she's not really paying attention to me, but that's fine.
Can she hear you?
I'm certain she can hear me because I'm talking through the microphone of the Ring camera.
Honey!
Honey!
Honey, 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 honey.
Hi! Goodbye. We are going to Topgolf later.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah, we're going to drive it.
Yeah. Oh.
We're teeing off.
Jim Choi, Chandler and Kefty are cellmates now. Yeah, how about that? We'll talk about Tupac in a minute. Boston, is Taylor and Travis taking a romantic gondola in New York right now?
It's an erection.
No, I'm not doing it. Green Street Ute, he's wherever game day is. Yes, true.
Right, but that's my point. Why is game day at Duke Notre Dame?
Yep.
What is the point?
Tarrant County says Mrs. Monty cameo. I asked her to come on the show. She said she doesn't have time for the little people like myself.
Lil people.
Mike Smith, Monty creeping on Mrs. Monty on the Ring doorbell. We're the Jonases.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard what you said. No, my wife is a huge decorator for Halloween, and I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. All right, let's get to a couple more games real quick. I'm going to run through some NFL, then we got to get naked on TV. This game's a little surprising to me. Baltimore at Cleveland, 1.5. Cleveland's a favorite on 39.
The land.
Is Deshaun Watson for real? In all seriousness. Do you buy it? Are you in on it? What are you thinking?
No. Oh.
You don't?
Nope. He's going to have to continue to prove it. I'm going to have to continue to see consistency, and he's going to have to show it. I think that, playing Baltimore is never an easy task, especially when Roquan's out here talking about beating your ass in front of your wife and kids. Roquan's coming for you. And I think that washcloth man here is he just has to continue to show it. Okay, great. You had a good week last week. Do it again. Do it again. Do it against good defense. Do it. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not gonna crown this guy completely back till we're 4 or 5 weeks of regular, consistent style of play and production. I just think it's too soon to say.
Well, I think I hope he's not. I am not a fan of the Cleveland Browns when washcloth king of America is their quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a lot of damage on that Ravens defense. I picked Baltimore to win this game. I think I'm going to stick and stay on that one.
100%.
And then finally, all right, let's move on.
Because it's garbage.
Bronco Nation, let's ride to Chicago. The Chicago Bears have lost 13 fucking games in a row.
What's up, motherfuckers?
Do you guys believe the Bears have lost 13 games in a row?
Minutes parade.
Never. I don't see any reason you would pick the Bears to win a game until they actually, win a game.
The unbelievers.
Right. I'm an unbeliever. I absolutely. And Justin Fields, he's not an NFL quarterback. I told you this about Mitchell Trubisky. Told you this about my guy, Zachy Pooh's mom's best friend. You know it when you see it. I saw it
through all that.
I've seen it in Bryce Young. I've seen it in C.J. Stroud. I have not seen it in Justin Fields. And I just don't believe that he's ever going to be that guy. And I think the Bears are a terrible organization. They have been. They'll always be. I don't see any reason you would pick the Bears.
No, I don't either. And I'm not saying Denver's good. I just think the Bears are worse, honestly. And it's really frustrating that week in and week out, we watch Justin Fields stand in good pockets and just not deliver the football. And what's so shocking to me is like a lot of the tape that I see on this guy, it's not even a complex scheme or route tree. It's not like rocket science. It's
Dude,
not.
We're sitting here the other day prepping for Will Howard to join the show.
Yeah.
And we're watching Will Howard game tape.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, yeah, look at that. Step and throw, accurate. Hey, look how much more accurate he is. Look at the delivery he's gotten quicker, the decision.
He's running read option or zone option, as he called it. Like,
you look at Justin Fields, watching game tape on Justin Fields, routinely makes the wrong decision, is not improving. His brain is not improving. His arm is not improving.
With
His
Zach
mechanics
Wilson,
are not improving.
Dude, with Zach Wilson, at least I can see Zach like going through the progression and just being a little tentative. He just hasn't
scared
quite
to make
gotten,
a mistake.
Right, exactly. Which I think, just my opinion, totally different than a guy who just has no idea what he's doing. Not a freaking clue. I mean, I just, much like everyone else, I just can't believe you were at the 22-yard line and had a guy wide open at the goal line and didn't throw it. How?
It's brutal. It is absolutely brutal, man. And I think the Bears are this is going to be a very close game. I think this is a field goal game, and it'll come down to turnovers. And I just don't see the Bears defense is not good. I think Russell Wilson's better than people give him credit for. And I think, in my opinion, the Broncos will win this game because Justin Fields will not win this game.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Johnny Gonzalez, Bears going for those UGA dog numbers just in the wrong direction.
Correct.
Seriously. Lane Tran, CJ Stroud's a big surprise. It's not that he's a surprise. You know why he's not surprising to me? They built an offense to help him succeed.
Agreed.
That's why CJ Stroud's not a surprise. Why is Bryce Young struggling? Because they have not allowed him to do the things that he does well, and they're less talented. Why is Justin Fields struggling? They have a defensive guy as a head coach who doesn't understand offense. They have a terrible play caller, and they don't have a scheme that helps Justin Fields succeed. There you go. You're welcome. J.K. Marshall, Jake wants Deshaun to quote-unquote prove it. All right, Joseph Harper, Bears Broncos, the Caleb Williams Bowl.
Yep.
Do the Bears win a game this year?
I don't think so.
Maybe. Mike Smith, do the Broncos have their first-round pick this year, or does Seattle? Could not tell you. I'd have to look. Off the top of my head, I don't know. Lance Johnson, the Bears don't. They could have had Mahomes, please. Please. Jim Choi, Trubisky and Fields weren't the first player picked. The Bears need the first pick in the draft. Right, but you understand how the Bears – I'm just going to take a breath. The Bears had the first pick this past draft. They traded once and then again. That you had the opportunity to draft Stroud or any other player you wanted. I told you, I don't mind you trading down, but I need the best offensive lineman available. You didn't get that. You didn't get that.
Yeah.
Why? Tarrant County boy, hug 'em. It's not Deshaun without the D. It's the D. You know. The Ohio State system QB, which is not what C.J. Stroud is, clearly. I think he's throwing the ball exceptionally well.
Yeah.
I think he looks really good, in all honesty. Alex Alonso, hey, are the Bears moving out of town or not? We'll find out. I think they want to stay downtown. Seriously. Mike Smith, the Bears need to address the O-line in the draft and not waste picks on a QB that will get killed.
But they're not good at footballing, dude. They've shown this time and time again. It's so obvious what you need, and yet you don't do it.
Yeah. Let's see. KF, if the Bears draft Mahomes, they would have used him incorrectly. They are a disaster. Thank you. Jim Choi, Papa Hallis ain't coming through that door. Neither's Dicka. Dicka.
Oh!
Tanner Plummer, double doink. Is that what they call it in? Nope, not
That's the untrained eye.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah.
The Hallis family is not well loved in Chicago for how they have ran that franchise. They don't care about winning. They care about the bottom line. Chicago Bears fans are captured. Dude.
We talking about the Bears or the Cubs?
The Bears and the Cubs and the Bulls. I think they want to win. I just think they don't want to spend money, and they don't know how to draft.
Yeah.
I think it's as simple as that. I mean, you look at the quarterbacks we've had. I'm fighting a torrential sneeze. You look at the quarterbacks we have had, we ain't had a quarterback.
Nah.
I mean, who's the best passing quarterback we've ever had? It's probably Jay Cutler.
Probably, yeah. Honestly, yeah.
Anybody else? Well, Jim McMahon, he won a Super Bowl. Yeah, he's no Donovan McNabb, but he'll do.
It's really unfair.
Jim McMahon was a good quarterback, not a great quarterback. We, in Chicago, the Bears, we have never had the best quarterback in the NFL.
That's quite enough. We get it.
Steve Young, no. Patrick Mahomes, no. We don't do that.
No, I guess not.
We don't do that, and it's flipping frustrating.
Yeah.
All right, let's get naked. HBO Max did something that Mrs. Monty was very happy about.
Dilly.
We went to Ireland. We went to Ireland. Found out my legal first name was pronounced differently than I had been told my whole life because my parents hate me.
Waves in opposition.
And then we went to the hotel. Actually, it was an Airbnb. We were watching television, and there was a game show on. It was a dating show.
Okay.
Only everybody's nude. The person that's picked, it's like the Bachelor. The one that's looking for a date is standing in front of 3 screens.
Here I am.
Where there's it's backlit and you can see the person's silhouette.
Right.
They're naked behind the screen.
Okay.
They ask some questions, move the screen up to their knees. Okay. Maybe you're a foot person. Ask some more questions. Move that screen up just below the prime time.
Cock.
Ask some more questions. Now we're showing everything down below the waist because you moved it up to the belly button.
Right.
And it's brutal. Ooh, shrivel.
Y'all want to play.
Probably need a weed whacker for that bush.
I was watching the highlight reel, and one of the women who was looking for a date said maybe it's a grower.
Because it ain't a shower.
Bro, that is crazy.
Like, it's brutal.
You start talking shit.
So once you're done grading the people's genitalia,
right,
the screen goes up higher.
Oh.
So now, hey, look, nice guts you got there, Porky Pig.
Macaque.
Right? Like, it's brutal. Then it goes up to the chest and finally the head and then the winner, and everybody's standing there naked and they're asking each other, and the 2 people that are going to go on the date, well, what do you think of her? Oh, man.
Makes me want to puke.
Like, it's brutal.
Could you ever see yourself in a different life doing a show like that?
Yes. I'd have to go to the gym first for like a year. No. The answer is no.
I'm not standing on a stage
naked.
I'm not doing it. That's not me, dude.
Now, having said that, I mean, I understand why this is a show. We're a pornographic society.
Right.
And I will again tell you, pornography is the great destroyer of men.
That's right, T.
But I understand why we do this. Oh, when I say we, that's because it's on HBO Max now. It's come to America. It's on Max, and I think it's spectacular.
Debuted last week.
No, I am not going to do this show.
Yeah.
But is this how you want to find your next date?
It's kind of crazy, dude.
Yeah, I'm going to say this is not how I want to find my
We don't
next
save anything for the imagination anymore.
Teddy Wayman says, what's up, fam? Good to be back on the live show. Good to have you on the live show, Teddy. Alex Crows, after all the changes, how do we fix the Bears now? Bullet.
They're fucking Cole Beasley.
Can we contract? Yeah, sign Cole Beasley. I mean, he's a better quarterback than Justin Fields is. And he's not a quarterback.
Yeah, but neither of them take shots, you know?
Yeah.
Oh!
You're such a
The coronavirus.
You are such a jerk. But so would you, if you had the opportunity, before you went on a first date, would you want to see the girl you're going to go out on the first date with naked?
No. Nope.
No.
Don't need to see it naked, dude.
She wouldn't find out. She would have no idea, and you could see her naked.
Honestly, and I'm really serious about this. I wouldn't want to see you naked first, because if I see that first, then I don't care about your personality or like all this other stuff. Like, there's a process to this, like, right? Like, as dudes,
great.
If I'm gonna see you naked first, like it just ruins it. Now, obviously, for ages and ages before we started doing naked dating shows, us as dudes, we're always window shopping.
When did you become like the moral compass of American men?
I don't know.
Look, you know, why would I want to see the cow when I can get the milk for free?
Vexes me.
The point is, if you give me the milk, I don't need the teat. And I really want the teat.
Macaque.
So, no, listen. Women, listen, he treats objects like women, man.
Holden Middick.
Like, when did you turn into this guy that's like, listen, I don't value women for their boobies. I am much more about their intellect.
Here I am.
Since when?
I don't know.
Well, now I have a girlfriend and I've met her parents and they listen to the show. So, you know, I'm all about their personality. I want a woman with core values.
I just want to thank you all.
You know, hey, listen, if she's got them titties, that's great.
I'm a man.
But her heart is where the home is. You know what I'm saying?
It's quite simple, so I don't know why motherfuckers be overcomplicating.
Her soul is what fulfills me. My cup is fulleth over the rim when her soul fills up the soul in the heart and shit is in the cup. Is that what happened? Like you have this girlfriend now and you're like, oh, I need to connect on an interstellar level before we ever even, sex is just not important to me.
Okay, I never said that.
If babies happen, they happen. When a man and a woman fall in love, one thing leads to another.
Yeah, I know what time it is.
Wow. So Mrs. Monty wants to talk a bunch of crap over text. Don't hate since Jake has better morals than you. You grew up Catholic.
Oh, damn.
Just because I'm a recovering Catholic does not mean that I don't have morals. It just means that they're heavily skewed.
In God's name, image, and likeness.
My wife is slapping me over text. Look, you don't have... Listen, I don't like the way you treat
Know
women.
your role and shut your mouth.
What a dick.
That's what she said.
Gary Wolf. Yeah. Okay, let's raise the curtain up to see the midsection. Jenny, what do you think? Oh, what a dick. What do you? And they make you comment. By the way, on this show, they're like, okay, little Jenny, what do you think of number one's penis? And what do you think of number two's schwanz?
If you felt these balls.
And what do you think of number three's Costco hot dog?
That downstairs kitty cat is not yours to have, okay?
And the girl's like, oh, that's really nice.
But imagine being the dude standing behind this screen or whatever, right? And you're just watching, like, and you said that the people that are behind the screens naked can't hear what the person looking for the date is saying, right?
No, I think they can.
Oh, they can hear you.
Pretty sure.
Imagine if you're standing there as a dude and you're just literally naked, Not even socks on. Oof. You're watching your screen just slowly come up.
Oof.
Are you the kind of dude that stays chill, or are we running
aren't
at the flagpole?
Kind of guy that's like you're like that thing goes up and you're squeezing your thighs together?
You have to be, right?
You got like flies and gnats going on down there, and you're like,
right? Like,
what do you do? Come on. If you're going on that show as a contestant, you are going to get waxed.
I think I've hit it every time.
Right? Like you are going.
You have to,
You
bro.
are going to get the hedges trimmed. There's no way you don't.
There is no more carpet, dog. None.
Nah, bro.
None, dude.
Nah, bro. You are neatly trimmed.
Yes, dude. You got a landscape.
So you're telling me if you're going on a blind date and your friend's like, hey, man, bro, she is a 10 out of 6. Like, she is everything you have ever thought about. I have nudes.
Nah.
I would say no, too, because that's actually a felony.
Once, if someone had nudes of this person, I would have to consider not going on the date.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not interested in that. Okay. I'm not interested.
Conference Commissioner Gumby, Manscaped sponsorship incoming. Exactly. Naked and Afraid. And this show, see, that's another show I don't understand. Our fascination as Americans with nudity. Hey, man, I have a concept for a show. I'm going to pitch it right now. Everybody goes out to the wilderness and your pee-pee gets bitten by mosquitoes. Who says no?
Ain't ducking, no smoke.
Why are we... You want to go out to the rain, like some forest.
Wasn't there one that was like in the like Sahara or something?
Yes, there was one on like a safari.
Yeah.
And there's like, dude, no.
What are we doing?
Gotta be fucking kidding me.
The answer's no. No, it's not happening. No. Lance Johnson. Honey, I love you, and I never want to see you naked. I don't believe you.
What do you mean you don't believe me?
I think if you had
I have no need to see you naked before I go on a date with you.
Boston Mapes says Jake is spot on.
Thank you. I don't need to see you. Listen, let's be real. You don't need to see a female naked to know what she's got.
And I think it depends. As men, we're so carnivorous, like in the meteorological society, we're carnivorous. See what I did there?
Right, yeah. Big words and stuff.
I think as dudes, if you're 23 and you're single and you're just out there like trying to...
You got to get stroked.
Plant gardens in every corner of town, okay, you'd like to see what they look like, right? But if you're like me, like when I was 25, dude, I was ready to get married and settle down.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would never have wanted to see a picture.
No.
Never.
Nope.
So I'm kind of with you on that. No, Mike Smith, I am not going to read that comment. Carnivore diet every day. Conundrum. Out in the wild, who wants the real snake near your snake? Not me, dude.
Yeah, I got a king cobra for you.
Not me. And then there's Tupac.
Yeah.
They arrested a guy in the Tupac murder. And I'm like, okay, cool. But I thought Tupac and Elvis were both alive. Hey, do you care about this at all?
No. Nope.
You don't?
No, it's not relevant to me. I understand why it's relevant to the world.
God.
He died. He was
the
murdered 3 years after I was born. Like, I wasn't there to experience the phenomenon. For all I know, him, Elvis, and Jeffrey Epstein are hanging out on a house somewhere.
So, homie that got arrested for this,
right,
has been writing books and telling anybody who will listen he was in the car when Tupac was shot and killed. You're probably getting arrested. And it's been a point of frustration to those who have investigated the case that this particular individual has not been not only arrested but not convicted.
Right.
Because they say, man, Armstrong from North Carolina State, the quarterback, is just getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, well.
It's tough to watch. But they say this is a slam dunk.
How?
Because
what do you have, ballistics,
this guy
fingerprints? What do you have?
He won't shut up his own words pretty much.
But it doesn't matter what he's saying. He didn't say he killed Tupac.
They haven't released the case file yet.
Right.
But they've waited so long, and they're saying that they waited so long because the case has to be airtight and a slam dunk to get him convicted.
Right.
And that it's the only chance they think they'll ever get to solve and get a conviction in the case.
Well, you can't do it twice. That's, double jeopardy.
But they seem pretty sure that he's the guy.
Well, they damn well better be. If you're going to arrest someone, what are we, 30 years past now or whatever it is? Like, I mean, you damn well better be like...
long time.
And I think there have been advancements in DNA technology. Like, there's been advancements in a lot of stuff that provides evidence, that generates evidence for cases to get convictions. Absolutely. So I'm just trying to understand, okay, sure, he's written books and said he was in the car. That doesn't mean he's saying he killed Tupac. You know what I mean? So, like, he's put himself at the scene of the crime or the murder. That doesn't mean he's saying he's the one who did it. And so if you're going to arrest this dude, you better be airtight.
But they charged him with Dwayne Keith Davis, indicted on murder charges, 1 count of open murder with use of a deadly weapon, and a gang enhancement.
You're saying you have proof that he drove Tupac, let's say, into a situation that he knew Tupac would be killed in.
What they're saying, and there's only 2 ways this plays out.
Right.
There's only 2 ways. So this guy that got indicted and arrested today has claimed for decades now that he was in the car, that he was not the trigger man. So if you were there and you knew it was going to happen, you can be charged as well. Maybe that's one way they're doing this.
But they're not saying he was an accessory. They're saying he's the guy.
They are, but again, remember what they are charging him with.
Right.
Because this is really important. It's open murder, which they're not saying murder, first-degree murder, right? Suge Knight and Tupac Shakur were in a car, and a vehicle pulled up on their left side, and they were talking to these women. A Cadillac pulled up on the right side of the car. A shooter in the back seat rolled down the window and fired gunshots with a .40 caliber Glock 22 and murdered Tupac Shakur. This guy is saying that he was in the car when it happened. I don't know what you get on this case. It'll be interesting to see. Las Vegas, and they had served a search warrant on this guy's wife's house in July, and that they had recovered a bunch of, like evidence, computer evidence, whatnot. I want to, when this comes out, it's going to be interesting to see, are they charging him with being the trigger man? Because everybody else that was in that car involved in that murder is dead.
So open murder, because you make a great point. It's open murder. They're not saying first, second, third. Like, they're saying open murder. What that means is, from everything that I can see, is that it is when a person is being charged with multiple and different murder or manslaughter charges under the law without one being specifically named. And a lot of that, when you go the open murder route, you allow the jury to define what murder they would like to essentially attach to this guy based on the evidence you're bringing. So when you say, hey, they're claiming it's airtight and they're going with open murder, that basically means they're saying, hey, this dude killed Tupac. We've got evidence that we believe will steer the jury in a particular direction in terms of degree of murder, and we're putting this dude away. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where I don't think we know what they have on this guy. And I think it is one of those things where you have to wait and see what the actual evidence says.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to get him. I think they'll get a conviction on it.
Yeah.
But we'll see. CKS, wasn't it also known that Tupac was also a thug? Come on now.
Be better.
Stop. Until 50 got to the club. See, find me in the club. I think this case is fascinating. And I think that, A, I'm not going to read a lot of the comments. But B, I think Biggie and Tupac's murders, there's no way to spin the fact that we wasted a bunch of talent right there.
Yeah, we did.
And for no reason. All right, what do we got on tap this weekend? We're going to swing the PXGs. Super excited. I got a brand new, PXG sent me a brand new golf bag today.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. It's a deluxe cart bag. So follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, The Monty Show, MONTY, The Monty Show. I have a review on there for you. They also sent me a brand new 8-iron.
Nah, we don't need to tell that story unless you want to.
Nah. So a lot of golf this weekend. We'll be up at Canyons Golf in Park City. We'll be at Top Golf tonight.
Yep.
If you're at Top Golf in, what is that, West Jordan, I guess, make sure you come by, say hello. We'll be there. Would love to meet you guys. It's going to be a great time.
Yes, love Top Golf.
And then we're gonna be watching the Ute game and the BYU game.
Yep.
And again, I am going to take BYU 24-20 over Cincinnati, and then Utah 24-21 over Oregon State.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
So there you go. Please consider donating to the Advocates, you guys. You know the Advocates are the presenting sponsor of the show. They are giving an awful lot of money to kids that are homeless, and we'd like to help them. They have a program with The Road Home, one of the foremost homeless advocates in the country, where they are providing kids that are homeless with Halloween costumes. Hook it up. Let's go. $1, $10, $1 million, whatever you can afford, please consider donating. Let me get this banner off the screen so that you guys can do that. That's their Venmo, if you can screenshot that, or it's Advocates Donations, or go to theadvocates.com, chat with them. But that is their Venmo, $1, $5, $100 in the notes section. If you can mention the Monty Show, that'd be great. But if not, please help the Advocates and The Road Home give homeless kids a Halloween costume. We love that you guys watch the show. We appreciate that you guys watch the show. Thank you for getting us to 39,000 subscribers. Until Monday, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.